Do, do, do. Hey everyone, I'm Cosmic and welcome to the Cloud. How's it going? I've actually been playing Dynamo lately, or not lately, I mean the past 2 days because of the buff, so I wanted to try that out a little bit on the stream today. Hello, hello. I thought that was the daily for some reason. Okay, that's fine. I actually got, just last night when I was playing Dynamo, Surviving Dynamo Roller User. That is a very topical title to get. Yeah, I mean, I like... Sorry. Had to cough. I barely even played Dynamo in Splatoon 1 when it was, like, really good. I'm normally not, like, a big, heavy weapon guy, but, I don't know. This has been very fun lately. I've been enjoying it, so yeah. Why am I painting so good? Why am I getting kills? Yeah. You just put your friend on an Undertale. Awesome. Dude, I literally... Like, watching a truly blind Undertale playthrough never gets old. I found one, like, last year from just some streamer I found, and it was, like... It's always so fun to watch people experience it for the first time. Yeah, I guess I'll hop into... Oh, okay. We have, like, actual maps today. That's crazy. I guess Urchin. Urchin is, like, definitely my favorite map to play in this game. So... Pretty much any time it's in rotation, I will be going with that. But yeah, hope you guys have been doing good. It has been a week, as usual. I guess, yeah, the update happened. I don't know. I'm a little out of it, but yeah, there are things to talk about. Well, also, okay, so there were rumors of a Nintendo Direct next week, but they have now changed to rumors of a partner Direct, which seems all but guaranteed that it is a partner showcase. So, probably not Raiders news next week. I still think a full Direct in February is very possible. I'm still hopeful. But until then, we do have this. Does Aura work the same way specials do lore-wise? So, funnily enough, if you've seen the Rassicus water video, they specifically mention, in the Japanese version of, like, the web page that talked about the update, they specifically describe it as, like, boiling, like the ink boiling. So, yes, in essence, yes. It's basically like how specials work, where they get powered up by the ink, like, heating up. But they, if anything, like, indirectly confirmed, like, everything Rassicus was saying in that video. Maybe not everything, but the important parts. So, yeah, and then for some reason that was just excluded from the English. I don't know why. I don't know why they can't just give us the lore in English. I don't know why it's always got to be like that, but, yeah, that is a thing. Also, yeah, people, so I will say, I'm generally very positive on this update. I think it's really cool. I know there was some debate about certain things, about health bars, about aura. I'm pretty much, I like everything. I'm very pleased with this update. I was a little iffy. There was a lot of talk about health bars in terms of just, like, the aesthetic of the game, and, like, people liked that Splatoon didn't have health bars, and I, like... in principle, like on principle, I agree with that. I think the game worked without health bars. I do think they could be like stylized in a more interesting way. I think there's different ways they could handle it, but personally, I really like them. I think they're very like actually helpful. And like more information isn't always better. I know some people, like part of the fun of going back to Splatoon 1 is like, you know, not always knowing when enemies have their specials charged, or like, you know, you have to actually remember what weapons they have, and you have to, it adds another layer of like observation to the game that I think is like, you know, can be good and fun. And even like an expression of skill, being able to like recognize like the little sparkle on people's heads when they have their special and stuff. So more information is not always better, but in this case, I really like the health bars. I do think it just makes combat more fun. It's easier to follow up on kills. It feels good having that information. It's not a mistranslation with the English thing. It's just they just omitted the interesting lore part for no reason. But yeah, it's not misinformation. It's just a lack of information, which is better. But yeah, just to finish up what I was saying, health bars, I like. For me, I've talked about it before. It's just a weird thing with me with Splatoon where I have trouble like focusing on my reticle. Like I'm not using a shooter right now, so it's a little different. But when I'm using like most weapons, I don't know why, but like my brain always wants to like look at my character instead of like the reticle or the enemy. I don't know what it is, but the health bars like help me focus. It like helps me look at the right place for whatever reason. I just like the way the UI is designed. For whatever reason, it makes it easier for me to like aim. So I like health bars. I'm completely positive on health bars. Aura is a lot harder to get than I initially thought. Which I think it's good. I think people like, so there, I think there was like, I think it was an overreaction, but there were people who were very negative or mixed on the idea of Aura because they thought it would like, you know, the game is already very aggressive compared to Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1 to an extent. I think, you know, most of it is the map design. It always comes back to the map design. It's just a lot more linear and limiting, so you're kind of forced into these interactions more often with other players, whereas in other games you could play a bit more passively, especially Splatoon 2, you could play very passively and still contribute to your team, which, you know, I think it was too passive. I think in many ways Splatoon 3's push for more aggression is a healthy, positive thing for the game. But I do, you know, I can respect that people want to play the game in different ways, and that Splatoon 1 and 2 allowed for a playstyle that Splatoon 3 doesn't really. So some people weren't too happy about the idea of low aura, like encouraging people to get kills, but it's not, I don't think it's that like impactful, and I think the impacts it does have are positive. That's basically how I feel on it. I mean, it's fun to get, it's hard to get, but yeah, and the hitbox changes, honestly, I don't really notice. I want to play Stamper some in a bit. I want to stick with Dynamo for now, but Stamper, I think, feels noticeably better with the hitboxes. I did pretty terrible that game, but that's fine. I was yapping. But yeah, that's generally my thoughts on the update. I'm pretty much fully positive on it. Aura is like, it's cool. It's not a massive change, but it's like a nice little thing to make, you know, you feel cool when you're like on a kill streak. And like painting the map and getting assists do contribute to it. So it's like, it's not even, you need to get kills to fully activate it, I believe, but you can like charge it up. I don't know if data miners have like fully figured out what it takes to get Aura yet. I would like to know like the specifics of it, but like playing more supportive or passive roles can still help you get the benefits of Aura. So I think the fears of it being like a sweaty, aggressive thing are not really founded. Ink brush hitboxes are crazy? I've not tested that one out. That's interesting. Oh my god. Yeah, Inklings are definitely pretty strong, which doesn't entirely make sense considering they are like, you know, they're like flexible and squishy enough, I guess, for lack of a better word, that they can shapeshift, but then they're strong enough to like flick a dynamo roller. Don't know if it quite makes sense. It might just be a little bit of cartoon logic. This is also like the only time I've played a super jump weapon has been playing this roller. Sorry, I'm like coughing so much. Let me drink some water. Okay. But yeah, this thing gets special so fast. I know the tactical version is probably like the actually meta one, but I prefer having the spot bomb. I didn't realize my mic was still muted. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, sorry. I kept, I didn't say anything that important. I don't think. Did I mute before talking about the Inkfish thing? Someone asked if there was a name for Inklings and Octolings. Inkfish is the term. It's like, it's been used a couple of times in official media, but it's still kind of more of a fandom term. But yeah. I can make a room, sure. Oh, you know, I have to change the... I actually joined someone else's pool for the first time. So I actually have to put this back in again. That was like genuinely the first time I ever did that. Jeez, sorry, I keep muting because I keep coughing. I just I ate a pizza, and drank a soda, and immediately started streaming. So that's I don't know if that is probably contributing to it. Yeah, you can join. We'll just do first come first serve as usual. Yeah, I'm so glad they have the pools. I'm I'm very lucky that I became a content creator after the era of having to add 1 million people on the friends list. I'm gonna try out Stamper. I was trying Stamper the other day and it was going well. Hello, Mr. Train Boy, welcome. You mean like in lore? I assume you're not talking about like weapon class weights or weight classes. You mean like actually how heavy they are? I'm pretty sure Sheldon, I feel like Sheldon has some dialogue about dynamos being heavy. They do literally have a motor. So like, I don't think there's any specific like measurements, if that's what you're asking. But I think most things are about as heavy as you would intuitively think they are. There's not any weird like trickery going on. So if you have a big metal roller with a motor on it, it would be heavy. Shoot. Health bars, right, so the health bars are really helpful for Stamper. Because Stamper has so many, like, distinct combos. You can do, like, you know, a vertical slash into a horizontal slash. You can do 3 horizontal slashes. You can do a burst bomb and a vertical slash. You can do a one-shot with the melee. So, like, having the health bar is actually really, really helpful. And the burst bomb, obviously. Shoot. That almost killed. Oh, they have aura. I need to actually get aura so I can live up to the stream title. Oh my god. That was just... I panicked and did not aim. Boss ranking is going really good. I know, I'm sorry it's been so long. I really want to, like, have more videos out in, like, a year than I did last year. But with the level ranking and boss ranking together, which both are, you know, will have taken multiple months, it's just been like that. But yes, it is. So I figured out what was wrong with my editing software. There wasn't anything wrong with the editing software. I'm just stupid. But I figured it out. So that's good. The process has been faster. Like the voiceover is totally done. I have 8 more bosses to edit. In terms of like the music and the visuals. And but I have like a good like rhythm going. Like I'm much more than like 8 out of 27ths done with the video. That's just how much of the video I have left to edit. But in terms of like the scripting took the longest time, and yeah, I'm making good progress. It will not be done. Obviously, I want to have it out by January. It's not going to be done by tomorrow. But is today the 31st? Today's the 30th. Yeah, so it's obviously not out by January. But I'm hoping to have it out soon. Very, very soon. I'm unfortunately like really busy the next few days. But I'm gonna just try to keep chipping away at it. Yeah, I mean, the streams, you know, I think are a nice way to have, you know, be putting something out there on the channel. Oh, nice, you got Urgent. And the streams have been fun lately. I feel like we've been doing cool things with the stream, so I'm fine. I don't feel like, you know, it's not a thing of feeling like external pressure. It's just like for my own satisfaction and fulfillment. I want to be able to make more videos. But yeah, I think it will be good. I think it will be a good video, and you know, at least part of me is like a little bit happy if we, you know, we probably aren't getting Raiders news next week, because that means I can get out the boss ranking video first, because Raiders would obviously take priority. Like if we got Raiders news, then I would have to pivot to making that, and I'd rather just get the boss stuff done and then be able to immediately, you know, have Raiders stuff when we get to that. I kind of just gave a lot of my thoughts on the update at the start of the stream, but generally positive. Like generally, I like everything. I like the health bars a lot more than I thought I would, and I think aura is very cool. If a little like less impactful than I maybe thought it would be, but it's still cool. Oh wait, I can kill you because I am a Stamper. No. Okay, I was not close enough, and I'm afraid of the other guy. They know I'm here. I might get out of here. I like the stealth jump change. I didn't talk about that. Yeah, I mean, I said it on Twitter. I kind of just like superficially like the slower super jumps because I think they look cooler. It just like feels cooler to me to super jump more slowly. I always liked that about Splatoon 1. So balancing aside, I just think it looks cool. And in terms of balancing, it's probably a good idea. I think it was a good nerf. Will the video be comparable in length to the level ranking video? Yes. I'm not sure exactly how long, but like about the same, like almost 3 hours. It's definitely over 2 hours. I literally like of the amount of the video that is 100% edited, I'm currently up to pretty much exactly 2 hours right now. And technically I have more than that because I was like feeling weird and went out of order and already edited like the fifth place boss for some reason. Even though I'm like not, you know, for some reason, but yeah, it's gonna be long is the point. Yeah, it is very long. Octo Oven top 5? Not quite. I do like Octo Oven. I think it's pretty good, but no, it's not very high. I don't like it that much. Yeah, it's a lot of. I don't know. I'm worried that it's like too much yapping, but like I feel like I'm saying everything I need to say. Like I'm, if anything, I'm omitting some other things I could have added. So it's just kind of how it is. But yeah, I'm glad because I don't really think people have done like a full like kind of boss breakdown for Splatoon. I know there's a video comparing Splatoon 1 and 2 Octavio. So that exists, but I don't know if there's been much other. I've seen other boss ranking videos, but it's more just kind of like, you know, vibes based, like not really like analyzing the design. I don't know if part of it is me analyzing the design for sure. But yeah. I'm taking into account gameplay and story. So like, yeah, some bosses are carried by just like the spectacle and story of the fight, and I will rank them higher than a boss that maybe even has better gameplay. Gameplay is like, it's technically not like weighted more in the scoring system, but like in my brain, gameplay is weighted a bit more. So like if two games have like a tied score, I'm gonna put the one higher that I like the gameplay of. I worded that sentence weirdly. The one with the better gameplay will be placed higher. But yes, I'm taking everything into account. Yeah, I really like the Splatoon 2 boss intros. I think, Splatoon 3 didn't really need them. Like, I think Shiver and Fry already had the dialogue, so, like, having the dialogue and then a big, like, aura farming cutscene. Yeah, Sanitized Agent 3 is definitely a case of being carried by Spectacle. And the gameplay is not bad. It's just underwhelming. But the Spectacle is so good. I don't know. I don't want to spoil the placement, but they did pretty well despite the gameplay. There are definitely some weird picks too. Like I don't know how weird they are, but like it's a kind of a case of like, because I like doing scoring systems. Like I could have just made the video like, here are the bosses I like in order, but I think the scoring, it's a good way to like kind of, I mean obviously like, I wouldn't say it checks against my own biases necessarily, because obviously the video is very much biased. It's very much my opinion. But I think it justifies my opinions better, like, and kind of makes me realize, like, you know, if there's something where like, oh, I didn't think I was going to place this high, but now that I'm actually looking into it and analyzing it, I kind of am coming to appreciate it in a new way. So that's what I like about doing the scores. Like off the top of my head, I think there's one like in my top 3 that I didn't think was going to be in my top 3, but it's like now, you know, the more I think about it, it's like, well, it makes sense that it should be here. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be good. I see. So Mari is a different name than Marie, right? Isn't Mari spelled M-A-R-I? If they wanted her to be named Mari, they would have named her Mari. Her name is Marie. I think anyone who says that Mari is just incorrect. Unless, I don't know. I think that's just a different name. I know the pun is calamari, and maybe they should have named her Mari, but they didn't. So, I don't know. Okay, we got penalty. So I'm definitely like full like yap mode today. I'm not paying attention. Oh god. Hello. Oh, we're dead. I mean, there's still a chance. Well, that ink rail's like pretty powerful actually. That's how far it lets you. Okay, well, I died anyway, but if I was good at the game, I could have probably used that to actually get out of the way. I see. I was thinking like we just gotta go for it. Oh. Okay. Okay. We're gaming. Got aura? Okay. There it is. Love to see it. I just had to lock in. Shoot, okay. I'm gonna keep locking in because there's actually a chance we do this and that'd be kind of cool. Shoot. Okay, nice. Uh-oh. I shouldn't have... Oh, we got it. Okay. I did not play very well after taking back the zone there, but hey. GG's. That was a good comeback. That was... Wow, I don't know. That was very fun. Urchin Underpass is a good map. Wow. I believe the room is full right now, yeah. Your biggest Deltarune pet peeve is when people say Toriel is evil and Azrael is dead. I don't know anyone who says Toriel is evil. That's a new one. Azrael's dead, I think, is just Jaru. I think that's just Jaru. But yeah. It's not a great theory. Should I make a grocery list or play Celeste? I mean, you should always play Celeste. But also, if you, like, need to buy food, you should maybe also do that. You should put strawberries on the grocery list. That's what you should do. And then you should get them in Celeste. Dude, okay, I'm not like a Jaru hater. Azrael's Piles of Dust Theory 2 is like one of the worst Deltarune videos I've ever seen. Probably the worst Deltarune video. Like, he is so far deep. Like, I have no idea what he's even doing anymore with that. I don't know if anyone here has seen it, but well, I don't really recommend it. You probably don't need to see it, but it's certainly something. So weird laggy tacticooler. Hello. I missed. There we go. That wasn't even my kill. Okay, whatever. Shoot. I couldn't watch it through. Yeah, I started like scrolling the comments in the last like 10 minutes. I'm just like, what is going on here, man? Oh. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I like Stamper in this update. Because they, I think they shrunk the projectile? They did something with Stamper. I really liked it closer to the start of the game, and then it got like a bunch of nerfs because it was really, really good. And the nerfs genuinely kind of killed the weapon for me. Like, it just, I don't know. I was having a lot more trouble using it and being consistent. And this patch kind of saved it for me again, I think. I've really been having a lot of fun with it. Oh, shoot. I was hoping that would melee somehow. Yeah, the Undertale connection is so weird. Okay. Can I just get this kite, please? Okay, I wanted Aura so bad. Oh, okay, I'm dead. Fair enough. I mean, when Stamper works, it's like... Okay, I was scared that was gonna hit me. When Stamper works, it's like the best thing ever. Like, it is the most fun Splatoon weapon. I feel like when you get into like an actual like flow state with it. Not like the flow state mechanic, just like a the normal term of flow state. But yeah, it also has times where it just like doesn't work and then it feels terrible. But I mean, this is, you know, it's just a harder weapon than most of the things I play. Come on. Okay. There we go. But yeah, oh my god, curling bomb. Okay. Yeah, Dynamo is great. I do want to try playing it again when I'm more warmed up. I used it at the start of the stream and it wasn't going so well, but I've been playing it a bit since the patch and it's really, really fun. Oh, I timed that wrong. Oh, I missed. There, okay, not even an assist. That's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely a thing of like, I feel like we should all be calling it flow, but obviously we're all going to call it aura. Oh, come on, 1 HP. Nice. See, that was a health bar thing. I would not have known to throw that bomb. Also, I got aura. I would have probably not known to throw that bomb and finish that guy off if I didn't have a health bar, which I think is a good thing. Shoot, I always want to rush that guy down when he uses the vacuum, and it has been working, but got a little too greedy there maybe. Oh, okay, wow. Lucky burst bombs. I have not tested out Reef Slider yet. Jeez. I just like, I'm telling you, sometimes I just don't look at the reticle. I should be getting a lot of these melee kills and I'm just not. I don't know. I can't concentrate on the reticle for some reason. Oh yeah, I heard that Brelas feel better, which makes sense. This emote is so boring. I think I was using this for the Dynamo. It's so boring with Splatanas. What is the other one? Oh, this one's actually cool. Yeah, I like that one. It is weird. I think they should have definitely put the health bars. I mean, you don't really need the health bars here, I guess, because you have the damage numbers. But I think they should have made it so that you could get flow aura from the dummies, just so you could like test it better. Hop on Celeste, bye guys. Well, enjoy Celeste, Mr. Trainboy. Yeah, thanks for the games modus. If anyone else wants to hop in, feel free. I'll try some other stuff later, but I do want to stick with Stamper for now. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Cool. You cannot get flow aura from the dummies. I was saying I feel like you should be able to, because then you could test it out better. Hello, Grilling. Welcome to the room. Yeah, I should have changed the music. It's fine. I love Urchin, dude. They figured out how to make good maps literally with the very last map that they added like a year after all the other maps. I was trying to not do the lunge attack. I just ran straight into the bomb. Okay, let's not feed here. Oh shoot, okay. Fair enough. Do you think this was the last update? I mean, who knows anymore? Okay, wow. Their charger seems pretty good. I really thought them calling the third kits update a bonus update was like a sign that we were done. I'm still hesitant to say more third kits are a possibility, but more updates, you know, in the vein of this one. I mean, I don't expect there to be like more major mechanics and reworks and things like this, but I think the possibility is now pretty much, you know, there for anything. Certainly did not think they were going to add a new, like, status effect in the 11.0 update. 3.5 years into the game, so... Who even knows anymore? Oh, you healed. Oh, shoot. I'll take the trade, honestly. So does everyone, like, hear the sound effect when one person gets aura? Because I was, like, in spawn and I heard that. Cool. What would you want changed first? I mean, if there was another major update, a map rework update is probably at the top of my list. I don't really know how much they can save them at this point, but like getting like multiple significant map changes, that's definitely the main thing I want for the game. Did you 1 HP? Okay, we won. I don't even think that is pie in the sky. I think that's like, I mean, they're not, okay, it's pie in the sky to say, oh, just fix every map that sucks, but I think if there's no time restriction, I feel like with the other map reworks, it's like, okay, we're making side order, we're making, you know, and balancing the new weapons, we're making new maps. Like, when there's all this other stuff going on, it makes sense that the map, you know, changes they had were very minimal. And just like little kind of quality of life tweaks and stuff, like the poll update and the signs and everything. Which, I mean, even for that, they had, like, create unique assets, but I think now in this period where updates can kind of just drop whenever they want, and there's no, like, pressure. I mean, you know, there's some pressure, but for how long this took, obviously, you know, they were just trying to balance, you know, figure out how it would work, how it should be implemented into the game, and then when they're ready, they put it into the game. So I think if they wanted to keep kind of serving Splatoon 3 fans, you know, when they're in between now and Raiders, in between now and Splatoon 4, obviously the biggest complaint about the game is the maps. I think doing like a significant kind of just reevaluation of every, maybe not every map in the game, but like, you know, the 10 most problematic. And just trying to do something significant to improve the flow. I don't think that's unreasonable at this point. if this is how they're updating the game now, you know, again, I try to keep my expectations low. Rip. I wasn't expecting an update after 10.0. I don't really necessarily expect an update after this. But the possibility is now there. And if there's any speculation and talk about what we should get, that's what I want. I mean, Fest and PB should be a thing. That's not my major hope for the game. I definitely want them to make the maps better before... I mean, that's the thing, because it seems so easy. It's like, yeah, literally, why is Tricolor / Splatfest mode not in private battles? Because it would be so easy for them to implement. Like, yes, on that side of things, it just should be a feature in the game, but it's not, like, I don't care. I don't care that much compared to a lot of other things they could do that would take more effort. I don't hate ship shape. I think on a lot of modes it's not great. I like it in zones. I like the like bridge and this glass. Like this whole structure is very unique. This map I think would be like really good if there was one more like a route. If there was just any way to circumnavigate mid, because you don't really like, you're either dropping right or dropping left and it kind of ends up feeling the same. Like I just wish there was some other kind of route you could take. I wish it was just like one like lane wider. If you could like even just like wrap around here maybe, where I'm aiming my cursor, or like, you know, on the left side, just anything where you could like get around. Because like, you know, on Urshin, we're just playing on Urshin, you know, out of spawn you can drop on the right side. So like, everyone kind of anticipates you coming from, you know, the main like middle path from spawn, but then you can also like, there's two other ways you can wrap around. And that just makes the whole map feel so much more open, and like, there's so much more you can do, so many other ways you can get in. Oh wow, nice, whoever just did that. Moosh, nope, I thought I could get him off the back of the crab. Okay, that was, that was not good. And ink rail would help. Ideally, it would be like actual terrain that you could ink and swim in. I think ink rails are like they use them as kind of like a quick and easy fix, but they're never really ideal because you're very visible. You're very visible and you're very vulnerable in an ink rail. If there was just like a path around here, where you didn't have to like drop off a grate and you could just swim, really I think around here would be more ideal maybe. But that would just, it would change the whole dynamic of the map. I mean, literally just a change that small, I think, would completely alter how you play, because now isn't everyone is coming through the zone or dropping to the right where they're super vulnerable coming off a grate. You can actually have like a semi-advantageous position coming off the left. It would literally change how the whole game is played. And that's the thing with like every Splatoon 3 map, is like they're not even that far off. Like, okay, yes, there are other issues. There are issues with the aesthetics. There are issues with how well they blend like the theme of the map into the actual gameplay. But like, in terms of just being like functional, fun, playable maps, most of them are not that far off. They literally just need like a couple more routes, I think. And they wouldn't be perfect. They wouldn't be like some of the best maps in the series still. But they'd be so much better. And I do think that is feasible for a lot of them. I think Urchin is way better. Ramen's good. Ramen still feels like a Splatoon 3 map. It has some pretty serious issues. The tower control path is like kind of terrible. I guess that's the main one. I don't love it on... Well, it's okay on zones. It's mostly tower control, and I guess I don't really love it on Clan Blitz either. I don't know exactly why, though. I would need to, like, play the map again and think about it. But the tower control path kind of sucks. How hard is hitting with snipers now? I mean, I don't play snipers, so I'm probably not the best person to ask, but, I don't think it would feel too different. Because they shrunk the squid hurtbox a little bit, and they increased the charger hitbox a little bit. So, like, I feel like of all weapons, they'd probably feel the least changed. Oh yeah, Tomodachi Life. I knew there was some other news I wasn't talking about. Tomodachi Life is cool. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it day one. I don't know if that's like a day one $60 purchase for me. Because it's also definitely a game I could like watch other people play and still get a lot out of it. But it looks really good. I mean, for what it is. I didn't really play the first Tomodachi, but it is cool. It's cool that they just straight up have like non-binary as an option and like the dating preferences. It is cool that they actually followed up on their promise there. You can have Hugh Morris, yes. The Hugh Morris memes have been good. I haven't watched the other directs. I know the like Europe direct and the Japan one actually had like different characters. Now, I like that they had like a whole storyline going throughout the direct. That was like a really smart way to show off the game. I feel like I want to get it at some point. I don't know. I don't want to spend $60 on it. Every game is so expensive now, and like, I know 60 is better than 70, but it's still like, you know, a life sim me game. I don't know. It's not worth $60 to me, but maybe someday. Ah. Weird interaction. Okay. I don't want to push up too far. Okay, they do want to push up too far. That's fine. Hello. Yeah, you want to drop so bad. You want to blind me with a torpedo? Okay, I still killed them. That was overkill. I don't know why I did that. Never thought to zipcaster up here. I don't think there's a good reason to do this, but I am doing it. Surprised that was a melee. That felt really far away. Ah! I did not know where the reef slider was. I mean, it's inevitable that some people are gonna be stupid and hate on it, but I don't know. I would rather just focus on the fact that it is in the game and that is a good thing. The lack of online sharing is a little unfortunate. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm the kind of person who, like, in terms of making, like, floor or house designs or whatever, I would just like to do that myself. But, you know, for just the sake of, like, funny things with, like, Animal Crossing, it's definitely nice being able to, like, download other people's designs, but... I mean, if there's still some way, I don't know, there might be still, like, a QR code or something, and there's just not, like, an online, like, menu like there was for, Animal Crossing, but I'm not sure. Health bars are also really nice for when people are in Booyah Bomb armor, by the way. That was something I noticed while playing. Shoot. I've been giving my thoughts on the update throughout the stream, but mostly positive, pretty much entirely positive. I think it is very cool. I like health bars. Health bars are probably my favorite thing about the update, to be honest. Aura's like cool, but it doesn't trigger that often for it to feel like a super impactful thing. Whereas I feel like health bars genuinely are kind of changing the way I like approach fights in a way that I like. That was good. Ooh. Shoot. I wouldn't be surprised if... I mean, I don't know if it really... Calling it testing for Splatoon 4, I feel like is not entirely accurate, because it's obviously more than testing, it's in the game. But, yeah, I mean, I've seen that sentiment going around. I'm sure it's partly testing the waters for Splatoon 4, and partly just, you know, this specific game. I do think, like, Aura makes sense for the direction that Splatoon 3 has already been going in, where everything has been more focused on, like, aggression and really rewarding going in and, you know, killing people. I don't know if it, like, necessarily would work for a theoretical Splatoon 4 if that's not the direction they're going in. So I don't know. I don't know that it will necessarily, like, definitely be a thing in the next game. I guess it'd be weird to go away. But yeah, I definitely would not be surprised if, like, I feel like the health bars, like, I wouldn't even be surprised if that's, like, a thing carry over from, like, Raiders. Like, we're gonna find out the enemies in Raiders have health bars. That would not surprise me. With Aura, it's hard to say, because, like, I can't really imagine they're already too far into making Splatoon 4. I guess maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, I don't really think it's a chaos. I don't know. People like to act like the gameplay is, like, tied to the whole Splatfest theming. I'll be real, I just don't think that is true. I think Splatoon 2 was an extremely passive game with specials that required you to coordinate with your team. Otherwise, they basically had no impact and barely helped you at all. And Splatoon 3 tried going kind of more in the direction of Splatoon 1, maybe too much to an extreme, but it really wants you to interact with people. They do not want people to sit back and spam specials. They want you to go in. They want you to take fights. I timed that wrong. They want you to, you know, always kind of be pushed towards, like, the center of the map and be having interactions with other players. I don't think that's because of the Splatfest. I think that is a direct response to how Splatoon 2 was designed and how the community reacted to it. So I wouldn't say it's like you know, it's not because it was chaos, it's just because of how the series has, you know, evolved and developed over the course of 10 years. This was just kind of the natural next step after Splatoon 2, was to make a game that favors aggression, that's really fast-paced, and has things, you know, like Tacticooler, that allow you to go in and not be that punished for it, but also greatly rewarded if you do, you know, manage to make a big play. So that, I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, with Aura, is, like, it fits into that, like, design philosophy, but I would kind of hope the next Splatoon game is a bit more balanced in terms of, like, not like well balanced in terms of weapons or whatever, but in terms of, like, passiveness versus aggressiveness, because I still think Splatoon 1 is kind of the perfect, like, the perfect balance of that. Like, you have moments that do feel more like downtime, where you're in kind of a emptier part of the map where there aren't that many players and you're just, like, inking to charge your special, or you know, just kind of like wrapping really far around for a flank. And Splatoon 2, it felt like all you were ever doing was that, right? Is just these maps are really big and you're just kind of farming special and hanging back and not really like interacting with people face to face that often at all. And then Splatoon 3 is the other extreme where it's hyper aggressive. So like I would kind of just like them to go closer to a Splatoon 1 type of feel where it's more balanced. In which case I still think Aura could make sense. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was like tweaked a little bit. I mean, yeah, they haven't exactly outright stated, like, that's why the maps are small. But that's the general understanding. I mean, they've said, they have specifically said they do not want people hanging back spamming specials, in, like, the patch notes. Like, that is very much, like, they are definitely trying to favor aggression in Splatoon 3. Like, that is very clear. That is very evident. In terms of the maps being, like, small and linear, it's hard to say how intentional it is. They had one, like, it's like the worst developer quote we've ever had for Splatoon, where they're like, oh, we actually don't think about the shape of the map when we start making it. It's like, what do you mean you don't think about the shape of the map? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But so yeah, I don't know. I think the maps, they just kind of like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. I think that's the problem. I think they didn't really have a vision for the maps, and that's why they suck. But yeah, as far as the better Splatoon 3 maps, it does seem like it is playing into that idea of encouraging aggression. Yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier in the stream, like, Urchin is by far my favorite map in this game, and it's because it's basically untouched from Splatoon 1. Like, it's a little changed, and there is some nice, like, quality of life, but if the very first map, I mean, you know, it's the reworked version, so it's technically not, like, the actual first map they made, because, you know, 1.0 Urchin from Splatoon 1 was not very good, but if this map from, you know, the second year of the series' existence is, like, way better than any of Splatoon 3's, like, obviously there's a problem there. Yeah, I mean, it just makes the game less repetitive, is my thing. Is, like, when you have different options, even if I'm just running in and feeding and playing badly, I can feed from the left and feed from the right, you know, and not just go down the middle every time. Like, it's just on a very baseline, like, level enjoyment of the game. Even if I'm not, like, fully taking advantage of it, it just feels more interesting. I feel like I'm exploring, like, it's just better. I don't know. From a lore perspective, from a competitive perspective, from everything, it's just like, and I don't think bigger is necessarily always better, but it generally kind of is, in my opinion. I don't know, like, the only bad example of, like, Piranha Pit Rainmaker in Splatoon 2, where they had to make, like, a specifically different version of the map just for Rainmaker, that is an example of a massive map that isn't very good. But that's, like, kind of the only example I can think of, because Piranha Pit in every other mode is really big and is great, and every other big map. Okay, one that just popped into my head is New Albacore Hotel. That is a pretty big map that also kind of sucks, but it's less a size thing and more a linearity thing. But often when they're bigger, they just become less linear, maybe even on accident, but just by virtue of them being bigger, a lot of the times there ends up being more routes. So yeah, bigger kind of often is better for Splatoon, in my opinion. Well, Urchin feeling, like, cramped is something I kind of like. Like, there's a weird thing with Splatoon 1 map design where there's maps that have, like, these kind of tight hallways, but they still feel more like open isn't the right word, but there's more options. They feel less linear. Like, I'd rather have like a map that feels like a labyrinth than a map that's like wide open, but it's just a straight line, which is what Piranha Pit Rainmaker was. Like, so I still prefer this. I don't think the design of Urchin is like ideal necessarily, but I do think it's better than pretty much every exclusive Splatoon 3 map. I would rather be cramped with options than wide open with nowhere to go. What would make me like Salmon Run, gameplay or lore-wise? I mean, gameplay, just let me choose my weapon and let there be more than one map in rotation. Those are the main things. And lore-wise, just give it a story. I mean, that's my issue with Salmon Run, is like the lore is cool, like it adds to the world building in a significant way, but it doesn't go anywhere. Like, I don't know. The reason I care about most Splatoon lore is because of how it changes the narratives of Splatoon, I guess. I mean, there's also some stuff that's like, it's just cool, for world building's sake, for sure, but I don't know. I think that's part of why I've never been able to... Well, give me a character, at least, other than Grizz. Like, give me a salmonid character, and maybe I can be invested. But without any, you know... They're an intelligent species, but we don't, like, learn about any specific salmonid outside of, like, the band, I guess. So that would help a lot. Do. Yeah. I just get bored of Salmon Run. I don't know. I just wish there was like some more like predetermined, like the fact that even at a high Salmon Run rank, you can still technically just roll 3 normal waves in a row. I really don't like that. I wish you were like guaranteed. I kind of wish you were guaranteed a special wave on wave 3. I mean, sometimes the normal wave 3 waves are fun, I guess, because it gets super overwhelming, but like, I think you should be guaranteed 1 or 2 special waves. And maybe they could adjust like the rarities of some of them. I don't know. I just it's so anticlimactic to do like 2 special waves and then just a normal wave for wave 3, I feel like. Oh yeah, I forgot about the missile change on Urchin. How do you make a story yet continue to fight them? I mean, that's the issue, obviously. Like, I get why. There's a lot of issues with Salmon Run, because also it's like, you can't really like defeat the salmonids and have that not be like problematic, because you're like, oh, they're like their own sentient species and culture that are based on like real life tribal cultures, and the Inklings are like exploiting them and stealing the resources. And so like, where do you go from there? It's like, do the salmonids win? Do the Inklings win? Like, it doesn't feel like a good ending either way, but it's like, it's a tricky thing. Like, I am not surprised they haven't really tried to tackle it, because it would be kind of messy. But I don't know. No, the missile thing is just like, there's like the billboards at the top of Urchin. There's like a big structure over the zone, with like billboards on it and screens and stuff. And the missiles now just phase through that, where before they would explode and basically do nothing. I mean, I do think that's, yeah, like, I think it's intentional that there is, like... The problem is that the devs have described it as, like, you know, every species fighting for themselves, and they all have this kind of, like, you know, moral ambiguity. But the Samanids are, like, pretty clearly victims for the most part. Like, Big Run is really the only example of them, you know, going after the Inklings actively, but it's like seems to be pretty clearly implied that Big Run is, to the extreme that it has gotten to, is largely a response to the like Inkling overfishing of salmonid eggs. So yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know how they're ever gonna handle it. I'm bad at like predicting that. Like that's something I've seen people try to speculate on a lot. I don't really know what direction they would take it in. And they like kind of just literally didn't even try. Despite Mr. Grizz being the antagonist of Splatoon 3, they did not really try to incorporate Salmon Run at all into Return of the Mammalians, which makes me think, like, I mean, surely if there was any time, it would have been then, right? So, I don't know. Oh my god. Oh, something I could at least get a trade out of that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the members. Because I think, like, even if you replace the, you know, if you have a new mode that is effectively the gameplay of Salmon Run, but you change all of the aesthetics in the story context, like, I mean, that could be fine, but I imagine people who like Salmon Run would maybe not like that so much. Yeah, I don't know. It's an issue because it does feel like it always has to be part of Splatoon now. Like they would never get rid of Salmon Run just for story purposes. I remember people thinking they would do that for Splatoon 3. I'm like, there's no way they're doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this Save Our Salmons thing that just literally never led to anything. That's still so weird. Like, what were they cooking? We will actually never know. That was 6 years ago. Wait, was it 2020 or 2021? There's no way that was 6 years ago. Oh my god. Oh, that I don't know why that made me feel so old specifically. Because it was a New Year's thing, right? So it would have been literally, oh my god. Oh nice, we got lead. That's actually so messed up, dude. That's not okay. I thought that was 6 years ago. I mean, yeah. But like having the Salmonids as a part of the story, I wish we got like, there's just no, there is barely any concept art for Return of the Mammalians. And I know, like, they've got to be hiding something. Because clearly, I feel like it was not always the direction that it ended up being. And I'm just so curious. I really wish they would, I mean, the art books are pretty good at giving us, like, actual, like, concepts of stuff, but I still feel like Splatoon 1's gives us so much more of like stuff that was scrapped, whereas Splatoon 2s and 3s are like, here are some early sketches of this thing that basically looks the way it does in the final game. It's like, that's cool, but like I want to see the stuff that was removed, you know? Yeah, I mean, one way to do it is like you either have like a Salmonid villain who's like a villain to the Inklings and the Salmonids, or you just have some kind of like justified reason for fighting the Salmonids, like they turn into actual like zombies or something. But yeah, then it's like, well, if the resolution what is the resolution? Is like the Inkfish and the Salmonids get along? Because like I do think that Splatoon's world is more interesting with there being that tension, right? Like I think that's something that I do feel like Splatoon 3 has been kind of lacking, is like Splatoon 1, you had this conflict between the Inklings and the Octarians. Splatoon 2, that carried on, but then in Octo Expansion, like the dynamic of the world like shifted, where it's like, oh, now Octolings are on the surface, and now they're friendly. But like, because that felt like it was still like a thing that like just happened, you know, it happened in Octo Expansion, it kind of happened like in real time as the game played out, it was still like a fresh and new thing. It was like a part of the game's story was this like change in the in-game culture. And then Splatoon 3 is like, you never really leave the status quo, and the status quo is kind of less interesting now because everyone is just friends. Like, you know, nothing really, the relationship kind of changes with the Salmonids now that we have Big Run, but it's still kind of effectively, you know, the same thing. Inklings and Octolings now get along, and there's the reveal that apparently in the Splatlands they just always got along and there just wasn't a war ever, which is like, okay, I guess that's, I mean, that's kind of weird, but okay. And then it just doesn't go anywhere from there, so it's like, yeah, we need something. We need something to shake up, like, the relationships between the species or the groups of people or something, which is, you know, again, with Raiders, I hope there's some new kind of enemy. I mean, Raiders is a little different because, like, it is, I assume it's going to be largely localized in the Spiralite Islands and not necessarily be, like, a worldwide dynamic thing, but, I just hope it's interesting. I hope there's an interesting kind of conflict that makes sense within Splatoon's world. I can't imagine that all of the other Octarians were literally just left behind, but yeah, I wish we would get to see them on the surface. Oh, I blew up. I don't know what I'm doing here. That's not going to go well for me. I will pop that right on the bomb. That was stupid. Why did I jump there? That was also stupid. That's fine. I'll kill him. Watch. I missed. Okay. Oh, we're going to lose the game. No, we're not. No, we are. We are. We definitely are. Unless you ink the zone, right? No. Hello? Okay, that was a very, very long loading screen. I mean, they're definitely not abandoning. They're not abandoning the Inklings. Like, or you just mean the dynamics? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more likely that they're gonna probably just use the same same characters and same dynamics, but I don't know. Splatoon 4 is like, I'm just focused on Raiders right now. Any Splatoon 4 predictions, I still just like, I don't know. We none of us know. We don't know. We do have a spot if anyone would like to join. You got a ban? Oh, rip. Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of confused if I'm being honest. I do think that is something that, like, I don't really expect too much lore. Well, I mean, the thing is we have Deep Cut, right? And I think if there's any opportunity, yeah, I was gonna say, if there's any opportunity to, like, give more lore on, like, the clans of Deep Cut, it would be Raiders. So if we get some of, like, Shiver's backstory, I just want, like, my thing is, like, I want them to care. Like, I get that, like, okay, the Splatlands, we're gonna say Great Turf War was 100 years ago, Hammerhead Bridge wasn't constructed, there probably weren't highways. There is like a natural barrier between the two cities. And supposedly the Splatsville was much smaller until recently. It wasn't like a fully developed city. So I can believe, like, you know, that characters 100 years ago in the Splatlands would not have interfered with the Great Turf War. The issue is them just not caring about members of their species being exiled in underground domes and, you know, basically not being able to be a part of society in Inkopolis. So I just want something that's like, you know, the Splatlandian Octolings like thought that was weird, you know, or they like they cared a little bit. That all I just want like some acknowledgement that like they knew that was happening. Oh, I can't. Yeah, the pool is just Cosmic Cloud. How it's, you know, just my channel name. But I can put it in a message. Shoot. Do. I mean, forget character development, they just need character. They need, like, they need an established, like, dynamic. Because I still just feel like Deep Cut is so... They're so, like, wishy-washy. They're so all over the place. Like, I feel like both characters are playing, like, two roles at all times. And it kind of only works for Shiver. Right? With Shiver, it feels, like, intentional that it's, like, okay, Shiver's, like, you know... fail girl who tries to be cool, so she acts all like cool and elegant and like is obsessed with wealth and being all fancy, but then she secretly like cares about her friends and is stupid and silly sometimes. Like that to me works. Shiver makes sense to me. Big Man is like half the time he's the butt of the jokes and like the stupid guy, and then other times he's like the straight man to Shiver and Fry's antics. And it's just weird. Is like, is he the smart one or the dumb one? Like, I don't know. I like, and it feels like he's more the smart one because he's the one who like writes all the music and stuff. But I don't know. I get confused vibes from him. And then Fry, I just don't know what Fry is. Fry likes fighting people and she likes food. I hope she gets more than that. Because that's not very interesting. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure some Octolings just moved to the Splatlands after coming to the surface. I think, you know, that would be expected, considering a bunch of the Inklings. Because the idea is, like, a lot of people moved to Splatsville, like, to be a part of this new, like, trend. It wasn't just people native to the Splatlands, so it would make sense that Inklings and Octolings from Inkopolis would go over. Do you think they will get off the islands? I mean, if we end up building up the raft to the point that it becomes like a full ship, that could happen. Or, I mean, we're playing as the mechanic. I wouldn't be surprised if if it's literally just like you're collecting parts to fix the helicopter. And that's like the main objective. I kind of hope it's more interesting than that, because that feels a little basic, but I could see it being something like that. Oh, after the Great Turf War. Maybe. I mean, I would have to imagine some would, but again, there's like the natural... I don't know, because if we figure like Splatoon is basically like modern technology, minus some of the Octarian stuff, which is more futuristic. So like, if we believe the Great Turf War happened in like 1915, when did Cars happen? what year did Cars become like a mainstream thing? I feel like I should like know that, but I feel like I don't have a great sense of like, I'm just thinking of like the physical space. I mean, obviously there were ships, so like maybe I just feel like it would have been difficult for the Octarians to physically reach Splatsville. And again, like, the Splatlands, I think, were a lot less, like, inhabited than they are in Splatoon's modern day. Like, at least Splatsville was not nearly as much of, like, a big city. But it did exist, and there were, like, because the deep cut and, like, the tradition of Splatfest was an established thing. They became mainstream in the 20s and early 30s. So yeah, I mean, they could have used a boat to cross Inkopolis Bay, but I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't know, like, the physical way the Inklings, like, forced the Octolings underground, or if they even did. Like, maybe they just kind of forced them out of the city and they, like, took refuge underground. Like, I don't know exactly how it played out. No one does, but I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure it's probably possible that some Octarians could have made it to the Splatlands. I do think it would have been a lot harder than it is in the modern Splatoon day. Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's, yeah, if it wasn't difficult, they all would have done that, so. It's interesting to think about, though. Like, it is one of those things where, like, I never know what to expect from Nintendo in terms of, like, if they're actually going to address stuff like that. Because, like, they do talk about it as, like, the war and, like, the the domes. Like, that was what surprised me a lot in Side Order, with things like the Oct letters, and, like, Etude from Bunkola Walker. Like, they do sometimes really go into that stuff, like, the actual kind of, like, suffering of the Octarians and, like, how their lives were so different from what we ever see in game. But yeah, I mean, the idea of, like, Octarian refugees in Splatsville is, like, really interesting. But I don't know. I don't know if that would be something that would be addressed ever in the game. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll remember to back out next time if anyone wants to join. Dude, I don't like the CQ phones. I really don't like the CQ phones. I want them to go back. The squid-shaped, like, smartphones were, like, I don't know. I feel like they were so iconic. It was, like, on the Splatoon 1 splash screen. Like, the CQ phones are so ugly. I want them to go back. I always forget how far you can launch yourself at the spawn here. Shoot. They feel really out of place to me. I don't know. I don't feel like none of the rest of the Splatlands is really like a Y2K vibe. So it's like, I mean, I guess maybe they're more supposed to just be more like modern flip phones that people use in, like, Japan, but, like, I don't know. I just think they're less. I just think they look worse, to be honest. There's not, like, a deep reasoning behind it. I just think they look worse, and I don't think they fit the vibe of the game. I mean, they're fine, like, as a concept. Like, I don't hate that they're, like, in the game. I just wish it wasn't, like, every single Inkling uses them. I wish just, like, in the plaza, if only, like, half of them had it. I know it's, like, technically the justification for, like, why you can skip the news, but, like, I mean, you could do that on a normal phone, too. That would actually make more sense on a normal phone. Who watches a podcast on a flip phone? Oh. Lore-wise, why couldn't Agent 4 super jump to Cephalon HQ right away? I mean, the boss kettles... I don't know. I don't know if it's super thought out, but presumably collecting the Zapfish is what allows them to open the boss kettle. That's at least how it works gameplay-wise. I guess it only takes 6. I'll be real, I've never thought about that somehow. I've never really considered, like, I mean, Agent 3 also could have just jumped onto the final UFO, right? But, I mean, I think they don't really specifically mention it, but I do think they want to take back all of the Zapfish, not just the Great Zapfish. Whether or not they, like, should do that morally is obviously debatable, but so is everything the new Squid Beak Splatoon does, so, I just think that's the idea, is that they want to take all of the normal Zapfish back too. You're also kind of like searching for Callie in Splatoon 2, so I feel like you could use that as justification. So we're not gonna get a trade there. That'd be fun. Why did she join Octavio? It's never really fully explored. The relationship chart has her saying, "I'll hear you out." But I think it's implied he mind controlled her pretty quickly. I would really like to think there's more going on with the Callie Octavio thing. I think it would be really, really interesting to explore, but they just didn't. I don't think she explicitly broke him out. I guess that could be possible. I kind of just assumed he broke out himself, but that's actually probably more interesting if Callie had handed that. But I don't know. I don't think we really know that for sure. Why didn't Tartar use the Nil statue as soon as it had enough? I mean, I think it kind of decided, like, it was like angry at 8. I think that's a part of Octo expansion that people don't really talk about a lot that I think is really interesting. Like, Tartar makes it personal. Tartar is like, you know, you were the best test subject I ever had, and yet you defy me, yet you still defend the Inklings. So I mean, I think it was kind of a fit of rage. Like, I think Tartar was planning to wait longer and get more DNA and like perfect the sludge further. But 8 just like pissed it off enough that it's like, okay, you know what? You won't give me your DNA, then I'm gonna destroy your city. None of us did hit stop, my bad. You started talking to me about Commander Tartar. You can't expect me to pay attention. But yeah, that's an element of Commander Tartar I actually find really interesting. I think I mentioned that in the boss ranking video. So, yes. That's like one of my favorite lines in Octo expansion. The farewell number 10,008. Farewell to you in that worthless cesspool of a city. Just, I don't know, kind of just a raw line. Shoot. That was annoying. Better than you, streamer, hey. Dude, I hate stringers, dude. Oh, they're waving. Oh, they're, oh wow, okay. Yeah, that was not a great one for us. GG's, I was the incline. Oh, okay. Well, that GG's. It was not a great game on our part, but we tried. Oh my god, someone back out. Someone back out, please. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try Tetras. Cool. Oh, right. Oh, I sent out another invite. Design-wise, what's the worst weapon to fight? I mean, I hate, like, Explosher. I hate things like Exploshers and Stringers because I hate the feeling of getting stuck and not being able to move and then dying, like, a second later. But I don't think they're, like, objectively the worst designed weapons in the game or anything. Okay, that is even cool. Wasn't sure if someone else joined. Do. So yeah, Reef Slider got a bigger kill radius, but nerfed paint, right? Oh, wow. Or no, the 70 hitbox wasn't changed, right? It's just the one-shot hitbox? I kinda just forgot how big the... That's insane that the 70 hitbox is that big. What? Like, look, the difference between the paint and the damage radius is crazy. Huh. Okay, and that did 70 too, so that's not quite a one tap afterwards, but pretty close. Yeah, anyone can play. It's just first come, first serve. I think Gooberling said he's backing out at rotation, so we can get another person in then or whenever. The height is also ginormous. Yeah, wait, would this kill? This probably would kill, right? Oh, well, we won't find out. They did pretty much fix zones cheese with it, finally, which is good. I'm still a little bit like... I'll always be kind of a defender of cheese strategies because, like, I get that it's annoying in, like, competitive, but at least in, like, solo queue, it's like... I mean, okay, Reef Slider cheese was a lot more, like, brain dead than something like Kraken cheese. I still think Kraken cheese and Clan Blitz was kind of cool. I get why people didn't like it, but, like, I felt like there was enough, like, strategy and, like, resources involved that, like, you deserved to, like, get value for doing it, but I get why they changed it. But yeah, Zones cheese was kind of whatever, but it's probably better that it's gone. Well, vacuum cheese was also a thing where, like, okay, but you have to fill the vacuum to make it actually cheese. So it's not cheese. Like, the whole idea of cheese is there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's a cheesy strategy because there's no counterplay. But with vacuum, the counterplay is don't fill the vacuum. Right? I mean, normally the counterplay is to fill the vacuum so that you can shoot the person. But if you're in zones and the vacuum is standing next to the zone and you fill up the vacuum and they insta-cap the zone with it, that's on you, in my opinion. Like, I feel like Inkpack is a different situation. Oh, the Rainmaker. Rainmaker, well... But I still don't think that's free. That's cheesier, for sure. I think Rainmaker, it's cheesier than it is in zones, but you're using a supportive special and coordinating with a teammate. Like, I just don't know where people draw the line between strategy and cheese. Because then once again, then there is counterplay. I mean, you could get some free points, but you know, you fill up the vacuum. I don't know. I haven't heard as much of that debate. Like, I kind of wasn't paying attention when that was going on, so I don't have as strong opinion about it. But at least in the context of solo queue, or like playing with friends, like in competitive, I get it's kind of different, where it's like everyone's just doing the same thing. But I think a strategy that requires that kind of coordination deserves to be rewarded. Why is it called cheesing? I assume just like it's, I don't know. It's cheesy. It's just a video game thing, is any strategy that feels like cheating or exploiting the game is cheese. Yeah, the Kraken thing, I mean, that just straight up feels like a glitch. Like, you definitely should just, like, lose Kraken momentum when you pick up the Rainmaker. So yeah, I agree that that one's kind of BS. Please go through the... Okay, I was scared I was gonna stop on that wall. Wow, that... Wait, so did they... They increased the one-shot radius, not the 70 radius, right? Because I think I'm just forgetting how big the 70 radius was. Oh my god. Oops. Probably not worth jumping there, but whatever. Hiding on a wall during Glowfly? I mean, doesn't that not work on most maps? Because the Salmonids jump and hit you off? It works on, oh god, I keep forgetting the name of it. The whole last stream when I was doing that GeoGuessr thing, I couldn't remember the name of that map, and now I forgot again. Sockeye Station. You can do it on Sockeye Station pretty effectively. I feel like on most other maps it doesn't really work, though. Is that from Nintendo Switch? Yes, I'm playing Splatoon 3, which is available on the Switch 1 and 2. Do people call it roller cheese? I don't really feel like that's cheese. That's just using the roller, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's an intentional design thing. Extra work is the most underrated thing. I kind of hate extra work, so I think it is rated quite fittingly, but I don't know. I'm glad people who like Salmon Run enjoy it. I do not care for extra work. No, yeah, I know what you mean. You hold down the roller on the Goldie and wiggle it back and forth and it spawns a bunch of golden eggs, but I don't really think that's cheese. That's just... That's how the weapon is supposed to work. I don't know. It's just a weapon that is particularly good for squeezing golden eggs out of Goldies. I don't think there's like a problem there. I mean, I don't really have strong opinions on, like, Salmon Run balancing, I guess. I feel like cheese is more important of a discussion in, like, a competitive mode. Do-do. Do-do. Boom. I think I've played in like 2 extra works ever, maybe 3. I really wanted to get the gold badge in it. Or no, do you even get a gold badge? You do, right? I couldn't remember if it was a badge or just a sticker. Okay, I'm glad you guys are having fun. I wanted whatever you got from it, but then I didn't care. I've never gotten gold. because it's just not fun to me. I already get bored of Salmon Run for being too repetitive when it's like the same map and weapon pool. So when it is literally the exact same seed over and over and over again, it's just so boring to me. I don't know. I know, like, for people who are hardcore Salmon Run fans, the optimization is like already the whole fun of the game. So like I see why that would be appealing, but it's just not for me. Rear sliders should be pretty good on this map. Oh, they're weak. Nice, nice, nice. Cool. Also, one thing about the health bars, I do think they could be like more stylized, and I do think they're like a little basic compared to most Splatoon UI and like style and stuff. But like they look pretty good in my opinion. I really like the little bit of animation on them, how they like shake. I don't know. I think they're better than some people are giving them credit for. And like the whole point of it is to be super readable, so I kind of get it. I don't know, like I complain a lot about oversimplified and, you know, flat minimalist UIs in video games. Like that is like genuinely something that I care about a lot, and that bothers me in a lot of games. And I don't have an issue with the health bars. I think they're fine. I just literally messed up the angle there. That was embarrassing. Oh, we are gonna lose. Nice to get that zone. Okay, I know the paint radius was nerfed, but still probably wouldn't hurt to throw this out. Nice. Come on. I can see you through the tent shield, but you still don't die to a bomb. Nice. Which I didn't die on the zone, but it looks like we're holding it. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, get those beacons. If you guys can. Ah, I should have known that would kill. Okay, that's fine. Don't have a ton of time left to grab this zone. That was not a good jump. Okay, I'm okay. Nice. I was kind of hoping. Oh, wow. Okay, I did damage you. Didn't manage to get a kill. Where's that other? There it is. The aim just didn't. Sometimes I can really lock in with the aim, and other times I just really cannot. Can I get that beacon with a well-placed bomb? Yes, cool. Oh, shoot, I should have been more aggro on that guy after the Kraken. Oh. Was that little like bait? What? Rolled through the tent shield, super jump to spawn. Interesting tactic. Nice. Oh, we can actually do this. Don't like that we're getting flanked though. Color blindness is actually making that really hard to see. Nice, nice. Wow. Okay. How long are you gonna stream? Probably another like hour and 15 minutes. I normally go for 3 hours. That's what that would be. Yeah, nice final game. For Gooberling, not for me. I'm still going. Ooh, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Doo-doo. Oh, nice. Do not have to change the song because it is the best song. Ooh, okay. That open is a lot worse. I'll still play it. I might switch over to a different rotation at some point. I don't like this one very much. I might want to switch back to Dynamo if it's tower control. This is like, I only had the shirt built, but I wanted more, last ditch effort and main saver is a good combo for this weapon, because it is very Inkhungry now. If we have a fourth, feel free to join now that Gooberling is gone. If not, I can start in a bit. Oh, there we go. The way paint works in Splatoon is so janky. I mean, I think all things considered, it's pretty good. It has moments of jank. I feel like the ramps, I know with like Bamboozler, I don't know if it's other chargers too, but I think specifically with like Bamboo and maybe Squiffer, it will sometimes just like not ink ramps for some reason. And I think they like still haven't fixed that somehow. But it's only in Splatoon 3. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like for the most part, I would not call it jank. The backup option says actually. That's funny. Did not know that. What's my Splatoon hot take? I mean, like, in the context of the entire community, it's probably that Alterna and its story suck, and that the gameplay also sucks. But I don't know. That's been feeling like less of a hot take the more people agree with me, so I don't know if that counts. I don't know if I have an unpopular opinion outside of that necessarily. I feel like I do, but I'm blanking right now. I mean, you know, I try to not just like have an unpopular opinion for the sake of it being unpopular. I feel like most things people say about Splatoon are true. Oh my god. Nice. You got a quad, nice. That was a very easy game. I don't I don't feel like I didn't do bad, but I don't feel like I contributed all that much, but it went very, very fast. So we did something right. Or at least you guys did. No, I mean I went 3-1. It's positive. I mean, yeah, it was just quick game. There aren't really high numbers all around. Yeah, no, I like the Splatoon UI having personality with the text. I do feel like that's like one of the first things people noticed. Like when you watch a Splatoon 1 playthrough, they're like, you know, the confirm is always like, yeah, or nah, like, I don't know. It is a little thing, but I like it. Add some flavor. I do feel like it's just like a part of the way they make everything like kind of diegetic. Like little things like how in Octo Expansion you like imagine Inkopolis to return back to the main game. I feel like most other games would definitely just have that as like a, you know, back button. Master Bruh. I mean, yeah, the other games do just say return, but you know what I mean. They do it when it counts. Because there it's like fine, like there it's still a diegetic. I mean, not like, you know, it's not like the menu itself is diegetic, but like the point of what I'm saying is that like the idea of returning to the main game. That was what? I like ran out of ink and then they just died a second later. I don't know why that worked, but I guess I'm not complaining. Dude. Okay. I killed the wrong guy. Okay. Oh, we got Aura. Dude, Dynamo is so fun in this patch. I've like literally like never played Dynamo. I got a 1 star on it like yesterday. And I'm loving it in this patch. They actually made it so fun. Dude. Nice. Oh my god. It's like one of the longest aura streaks I feel like I've had. I ran out of ink. I ran out of ink. Oh my god, that, that killed. That was awesome. I am very much enjoying Dynamo, as you may have noticed from that game. What did I feel like that was like a that was a really good game for me. That was some aura farming. We did live up to the stream title. Yeah, oh my, 11-1, yeah. GG's. The painting below your feet actually is so nice. Like, I like that it looks cool too. I don't know. I feel like the whole pain beneath your feet thing feels like a. I feel like in some cases it's just sort of like a. I don't want to say like a necessary evil, but it's like, you know, it doesn't like physically make sense. If you're shooting a squirt gun, you know, it doesn't make sense that like a puddle would just form around your feet. But it's just something they started implementing because it just makes the game's movement feel better. But it was always a little weird, like with Booyah Bomb, you know, there's no physical visual reason why throwing a Booyah Bomb paints under your feet, but for gameplay, it just feels better. But I like with the aura that, like, obviously there's not like, you know, it's still just ink swirls around you magically and paints your feet, but at least there's like an animation for it. Like it just visually looks like it makes more sense and it's very satisfying while also feeling really good gameplay-wise. Dynamo on this map, I feel like would be good with all the ledges. It paints so much too. Nice. I really like the fall off or the like arc shots. I don't know what you call them with this weapon, but it's really fun. It's genuinely like a new weapon was added to the game for me because I just like never played Dynamo like basically in any of the 3 games before this. Ba-dum, ba-dum. It'd be kind of cool if they added, like a medal for kill streaks. Oh, I didn't mean to double jump, but I guess that's maybe not a bad thing. Wow, okay. Paintbrush. Nice. Nice. Got aura. Oh. Wow, I'm surprised that guy didn't kill me. Dude, this game is fun. I like Splatoon guys. Did you know that? Not losing it when you die is surprising, I will say. But also, it's fun, because it allows me to... Okay, never mind. I died again. If I got that guy, I would have restored it. My goat campaign is watched. There we go. Yeah, this feels really good on tower control. Oh my god. Nice. Oh, I'm never looking out for that paintbrush, and then he swoops in. Yeah, I feel like I'm like a Dynamo tourist. I feel like I'm not justified. I'm joking, obviously, but I barely touched this thing until it was good, and now now I'm using it. But I am glad. I'm glad that it is good. Glad for Dynamo fans who have had to suffer this long. Oh shoot. No, you don't. There we go. I don't mind. Normally I don't love Humpback, but with this weapon, it is pretty fun. I feel like we're doing good today. I don't know if I'm getting carried by Dynamo or carried by teammates, but we're getting more wins today than usual, and I'm happy with that. I'm pleased. Yeah, like they literally just like this is exactly what people were asking them to do for so long, and they did it, and it's good, and everyone is happy. Like that's all they had to do. I haven't gotten the Super Chump badge yet. I don't think I've literally even gotten like the 30 games one yet. Didn't know Splatoon 2 makes you do salmon run solo when you can't find enough teammates? Yeah. I don't think it's like supposed to do that, but it's just so dead at this point that it gives up sometimes and does that. Nice. I'm stuck in the trench. What? You died in my chumps? Okay. Get on, get on, get on. Nice. Ah! I'm officially at the part of the stream where I'm just making noises. Sorry about that. I remember like hating Dynamo and like raging at it during Splatoon 1. I don't know, I don't think it was actually overpowered. I think I was just terrible. Like I was so bad in Splatoon 1, I was literally just like, I had no idea what I was doing. But I do remember specifically raging at Dynamo a lot. You could fight AI? Yeah, I mean there's a whole single player campaign. I know it's not quite the same, but I don't feel like the game is necessarily lacking in single player content. Yeah, I feel like Splatoon 1 was still going strong for a while. When people didn't have Switches yet or whatever. Like, I would go back a couple of times. Well, especially in like 2017, because I was still playing Smash 4 with my friends. So like I was frequently still switching between Wii U and Switch. Oh, I just saw also which Dynamo is better. Technically I think the more meta one is the vanilla one with Tacticooler. I have more fun with this one because I like Splat Bomb. And I like that Super Chump is basically just like an instant ink refill. This is a very concerningly long loading into the battle. Okay. I mean, Pretendo, it does exist. Like, I don't know. There are times where it's really hard to find a match, but like the last few times I've hopped on Pretendo, I honestly have not had trouble getting into Splatoon 1 matches. So you do not have to mod your Wii U. There is an easier method with the DNS exploit. You just have to fiddle with your settings for a little bit. It's actually very, very easy. I would recommend watching Dude's video on it. I don't even know. It's basically your Wi-Fi connection settings. It's not exactly that, but it's very easy, is the point. I do not know much about... I don't know anything about modding consoles, really. Trust me, I am also very intimidated by the idea of modding a Wii U. But you do not have to. It is like a really, really simple process to do Pretendo. You basically just make an account on their website, which is just like making an account on anything else. And then there's just like a certain number you have to put into your Wii U settings effectively. In your DNS settings, and it just works. So the only downside is you lose all your save data. You do have to start from scratch, but you are able to play the game. They have certain 3DS games. I think it's like, I don't really understand the process in its entirety, but it's like they have to make it work for each game individually. So I believe there's Mario Kart 7 online servers. I assume they have Smash 3DS. I don't really know what else they have though. Splatoon is really the only Pretendo thing I've ever used. But I mean, they have like a website that should list everything there. Nice bomb. I do not know about New Leaf. I'm not sure. was thinking that would be a vertical click for some reason, or horizontal, I mean. It was a vertical. Shoot. I was tunnel visioning a bit there. Too much. I forgot they added another 96 to the game. Bam. Oh, shoot. Could have finished them off there with slightly better aim. Unfortunately, I did not have that. Okay, I don't know how that was a trade and not just me dying, to be honest, so I'll take it. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum-ba-dum. Apparently, yeah, Pretendo goes down sometimes. I don't think it happens very often. I don't know, I'm not going on Splatoon 1 like every single day, so I'm not aware of like every Pretendo outage, but I don't think it's like too much of an issue. It doesn't go down more often than like an official server probably would. Maybe a little more often, but you know, all things considered, it's pretty reliable for being fan servers. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, anyone who wants to join can. I do not have restrictions. Yeah, I mean, I agree that side order is the least replayable. I don't know if that's... I get the, you know, the gameplay loop of, like, doing a full run. For me, it's just... it gets repetitive really fast, so, like, doing a run... it's easier for me to play... you know, a few levels of anything else, or even the entire campaign again. I mean, that's the thing with side order. Part of me enjoying replaying the other campaigns is re-experiencing the story moments, or even just like, you know, just going through the progression of the game from the beginning again. And with side order, you don't really have that unless you literally start all the way over, in which case you need to start with like a, you know, 30-minute tutorial, which isn't great. And yeah, it just gets old. I think some other people wanted to get in, if maybe a few of you who have been here for a while could back out. I'd appreciate it. Just keep rotating the people. Okay, wow, that kills. I don't like know the limits of Dynamo. Wow. Wow. Okay. Ba-da-ba-dum-bum. Ba-ba-ba. But yeah, I mean, we are about to be in the month of February. I'm assuming the rumors about it being a partner direct are true, but I still think I mean, okay, I will say Nintendo like has been on a roll with news lately, which I like. I don't know. I feel like I was critical of Nintendo's kind of rollout of stuff throughout a lot of 2025, and so far I've been impressed with just everything. I don't know. I feel like you had like Mario movie news, you had Tomodachi Life, you had the Animal Crossing update, the Splatoon update. Like there's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of news and things to be excited about. It's been really cool. I don't know. It's a good January for a Nintendo fan, I feel like. And you know, I hope they can keep up the pace. I'm sure every month of the year won't probably be this exciting. Well, I say that and there wasn't even like a major release or anything, so some months will probably be more exciting. I imagine the month that has Splatoon Raiders will be more exciting, but you know, it's a good start. It's a very good start to the year, in my opinion, just in terms of like, and even like, you know, like the Animal Crossing update wasn't like anything huge, but it's just, they've had stuff. They've had stuff rolling out, and I've been pleased. Yeah, even the Donkey Kong update, like, I mean, I don't have Country Returns, like, I don't really care that much about that, but like, I've heard it's like actually a really good update. Like, they added some cool new content and like fixed a bunch of the stuff that was wrong with the port. So, you know, I don't know, good on them. I guess, I mean, maybe some of that should have been there at launch, but yeah, it's just been a solid month, I feel like, for Nintendo stuff. So, you know, and it's been a solid month without them really revealing anything big. And I do think we'd still need we still need some big reveals. We need to know what the holiday game is, because I don't think it's just Pokemon. I don't think they can do that again, because like 2025 it was basically Pokemon, because like Metroid, I don't know, Metroid wasn't you know, it's not like the holiday game. Like even if it was a better game than what it is, you know, Metroid just doesn't have that kind of I mean, it just doesn't make that kind of money, straight up. They just don't get the sales of, like, a big holiday game. So, I think they need, like, a real proper holiday game. Of course, I would love it to be, like, a 3D Mario. I still don't know if Bonanza would affect that. I'm very back and forth on how I feel about that, but I want there to be a 3D Mario. I really want one. I don't think it had a delay. I just think they announced it too early, but it's... I think Raiders... I really just think it's coming out in summer. There's no way it's not a summer release in my mind. I like September at absolute latest. If it's anything other than that, then they just hate me specifically. I don't know, like... I don't know how else to interpret it. I don't know why they would have announced it that early if it's not coming out within a year of release. Or year of announcement, I mean. Do you think Metroid lost them money, like, over the really long development time? Maybe. It probably lost Retro more money than Nintendo. I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about, like, development cost besides the fact that they are very high. I know there was lots of turnover with the staff at Retro. So, I mean, people might have been laid off if, you know, money was a problem, but then they also hired a lot of new people, so probably not the issue. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say, I understand what was going on there. I was not really following Prime 4 very much in the first place, so I can't really say, but I watched a playthrough of Prime 4 because I was only mildly interested, and then it turned out to be like, I don't know if the general consensus is that it's bad. I thought it looked kind of not great. The story was really bad. It seems like it was kind of bad at being a Metroidvania. Like, it was just really linear. The desert was terrible. I don't know. It's secondhand opinions because I didn't play the game myself, but like, I'm glad I didn't buy it. I'm glad I did not spend money on it. I think I would have been disappointed. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like, literally last year, we got the Switch 1 Direct and then the Switch 2 Direct, like, back to back. And I know that was, like, weird, like, that was definitely an exception, but, partner Directs and full Directs being close together is not out of the question. And if they want to kind of, like, ramp up the news, I think it's possible. I think it is fully possible we get a partner showcase and a full Direct. It's probably, like, means the Direct would be the next week at earliest, so, like... Let me look at the calendar. When would that be? So, according to rumors, Partner Direct is going to be like next Thursday on the 5th. So that would mean full Direct at earliest is probably like the 11th or 12th. That seems possible. That seems feasible. That seems fair. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Switch 2 Lite will be that soon. Because, like, a lot of people are still getting it. I mean, obviously we had the first holiday push. But I think they want to have, you know, there's normally a good amount of time between, you know, the first hardware and the iteration of it. So, I imagine it'll come eventually. I'm not sure when did Switch Lite come out? Released September 2019. So that's like 2.5 years after the original Switch launch. So, yeah, probably still got a ways to go. Yeah, I mean, they have plenty of hardware to push. They want people to buy the expensive version, right? Like, as long as they got attention and got momentum, they might as well keep pushing the most shiny version. I mean, they might make like an OLED equivalent. I mean, I don't care. Unless they actually make it more powerful, I definitely don't care. Because I barely play handheld. Not that I really care about the Lite either. I mean, I think it's cool that it exists. It's good to have an option that's cheaper and more portable, but I'm not buying 2 Switches. Especially not at this price point. two Switch 1s, maybe. Not 2 Switch 2s. Hell no. That is $1,000. God, this weapon is so fun. God, this weapon is so fun. Shoot. Oh! I like heard the hammer coming. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to move. Well, I mean, you'd probably, if there's a bundle though. I mean, the Switch Lite would be less. It wouldn't be $1,000, but it would be like $900 if you're buying a slightly cheaper console, and you're probably buying a bundle with it. I guess you don't need a bundle because you can play your Switch 1 games, or not Switch. You can play your Switch 2 games on your Switch 2 Lite. Is it going to be a Switch 2 Lite or a Switch Lite 2? I guess probably Switch 2 Lite? Yeah, that makes more sense. I know there were rumors about it because there was like some, I don't even remember. Someone found something, but then I guess like it was just totally wrong, and that was like a software thing and not even a hardware thing. I literally don't know the details of it at all. There was some like supposed leak, but it was just fake. It wasn't even fake, but it just did not suggest new hardware. Shoot. Still waiting on them to make cooler Pro Controllers. We're talking about hardware. Please make a Pro Controller recolored that does not look like garbage. That Resident Evil one is still so bad. I mean, like, I don't care about Resident Evil. I was never gonna buy the Resident Evil Pro Controller, but that is the ugliest Pro Controller they've ever made. Also, we started losing this game, which is unfortunate. And you get them out of mid. Take my chumps. Oh! Oh! I thought I was hiding behind a wall, and it still blew me up. I might try going back to Stamper again. I don't know. I'm just kind of alternating between weapons, but I was having a lot of fun with that, and I think I just lost one game as Dynamo is what happened. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh yeah. We were on a streak for a minute there. That was nice. Okay. Also, we were on a losing streak earlier, but I'll keep switching weapons, and every time I switch weapon, we go on a win streak. That's definitely how it works. Yep. Single-player music in Splatoon 3 is a lot worse than the first two games? I would not agree. I think that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I've like my stance on Alterna music is always just like I wish it fit into more of a theme. Like it just feels kind of all over the place, but the songs on their own are still very good. Wonder if Salmon Run will get any errant updates. Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be nice to throw the Salmon Runners a bone. I don't know what people even really want though. I'm not really. what are like Salmon Run wishes from the Salmon Run community? That's not really something I keep up with. I just want more than one map in rotation personally. Like that's really the main thing. Bing Bang is pretty great. Or Bang Bing. I always say it the wrong way around. Very, very important to get that right. What'd you do for new Salmon Run King? It'd be cool to have something that like altered the map somehow. Like kind of how the fish sticks come down and they like give you new options for like movement or like give you a new vantage point. It'd be cool if something like imagine it like made like platforms out in the water and almost like it like gave you new terrain to move on. I don't know, because my whole thing is I just want more platforming in general. I want more platforming in boss fights, I want platforming in levels, I want platforming and cool movement in map design. So like I would want it to somehow require like cool movement. Or at least like allow for different movement than the maps normally allow. I mean, again, it's just like Octoplush. Literally in canon, Octoplush like steals songs from other people. So like that's why like one of their songs is like labeled like a Deadfish song and just sounds nothing like their other songs. And it's like that's funny, but also like I feel like Octoplush has so much less of an identity than Turquoise October because of that. Like it's just literally a mishmash of like a bunch of random stuff, which like it's like I get that that's like kind of the point, but it also doesn't really feel intentional enough that I like it. It's like it just makes it feel random. Yeah, I remember being like convinced that there were going to be 4 King Salmonids for some reason. It just seems like the right amount, but then like Triumvirate makes sense in retrospect. Like I get what they were doing. It's fitting into the 3 theme. It lets you fight 3 guys at once, and like 4 would probably be too much. But yeah, if they could make another king, they could make another king and just not have it be in the Triumvirate. Like, I don't know. I don't think they will at this point. I think that's like too big of a content update for Salmon Run in this game, but yeah. They could do a queen. I mean, the point of it being a King Salmonid is that a King Salmon is a real thing, but they could also do a queen, I guess. Octoplush. Oh, you're just asking like the lore. I thought you were asking what is it. I don't know. I don't think we really. I mean, the album cover is a bunch of fuzzy Octarians, but I don't really understand what the implication is there. Like, if they made music while being mammalified, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I fully expect like Splatoon 4 to have multiple kings, or maybe that's where you would see a queen Salmonid or whatever, but yeah, I definitely don't think in this game at this point. Someone, when the update first came out, there was someone on Discord who was like, oh wow, they added Flow Aura to Salmon Run too, and then they were just lying. But that got me thinking, like, it would actually be kind of interesting. I don't know, it would make a lot less sense in Salmon Run, but some kind of like mechanical update like that, like just like a universal thing to Salmon Run could be cool. Especially, I mean, like inking under your feet in Salmon Run would be really useful. But obviously it couldn't just be like for every Salmonid you kill. You know what it could be? Like upgrading your weapon into like a Grizzco version? That could be cool. What if, yeah, like you build like a meter, and then you could like turn your weapon into a Grizzco weapon. That could be interesting. It'd have to be like balanced in a way that makes sense, but I don't know, that's something. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I never considered that Turquoise October became Octoplush. I kind of don't know if we're going to see Turquoise October again, regardless, though. I mean, if we're done with, like, Octarians as the main enemies, like, they probably wouldn't come back anyway. Wait, what do you mean they got 38 kills? I had to double check because I thought I read that wrong. What? I mean, I'm sure a ton of those are assists because that has a point sensor, but what? What do you mean 38? That wasn't even a knockout. Like, we didn't even get totally destroyed. That was just like a normal loss, but they got 38 apparently? Were we feeding that hard? Like, when did that happen? Huh. Okay. Flow Aura maxing, I guess. But Octo Valley, I've always had weird feelings about the idea of them porting Octo Valley. Mostly because I wouldn't want them to remake the graphics, but also because I feel like it's weird to just take part of a Splatoon game. Like, I think part of the experience of Octo Valley is having the multiplayer of Splatoon 1. So it's like, it wouldn't really be the same. I don't see it happening. But, yeah, I wouldn't really... I would like it for the sake of other people getting to experience a version of Octo Valley, I guess. But I would probably find it to be an inferior version. I want more people to experience it, but like, they wouldn't be experiencing the same thing exactly. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't like remakes that much. I'm kind of learning, like, I don't know. I just feel like over the past few years, I've kind of gained more and more of an appreciation for older game graphics and, like, systems and mechanics that were, like, a product of their time. Like, I don't know. I played Ocarina of Time like last year, or was it the year before? It was a while ago at this point. And that's an N64 game, and like I love the way that game looks. I do not want a remake of Ocarina of Time. That's a rumor that's been going around in the Zelda zone, like the Zelda news sphere. There's rumors of some kind of remake. And specifically an Ocarina of Time remake I've heard going around, and like, I just don't think... I think so much of that game's identity, and I know they remade it on 3DS, but 3DS is like kind of comparable in power to the N64, in terms of like the texture quality and the resolution and everything, so like I don't think that... I think that managed to actually still capture like a very similar vibe. From what I've only like seen footage, I haven't played that version. But... yeah, I just feel weird about remakes in general. I don't know. I would like an HD like version of Ocarina of Time with like, you know, making the environments high poly and like high res textures. Like I just think it wouldn't look. It would just look different. It wouldn't look better. And I think with the way the game is structured, I think it would be worse. So, like, I have no desire for something like that. And I know Splatoon 1 is not nearly as extreme of a... You know, Splatoon 1 to 2 is not nearly as an extreme a leap in graphics. But Splatoon 1, I've talked about it a lot. It's in this really cool, like, spot in gaming history where I think it looks so unique, where it's just really in between generations. I feel like in a way not a lot of other games are. It looks better than a Wii game, but like kind of lower fidelity than most Wii U games, most first party ones anyway. And I really like that. I really like the low res textures. I like the lighting a lot. I really like the billboards, which are, you know, like the textures that follow the camera. There's just a lot I really, really like about Splatoon 1's look that I don't like about Splatoon 2 and 3. And if they remade it in Splatoon 2 and 3's graphics, I think it would lose a lot of its charm. I do think they could feasibly, like, do it. Like, if they wanted to just have Octo Valley, I'm sure they could. I mean, it would be weird. It would be weird without the multiplayer aspect. Because you have things like the tutorial of the game before you even get into Octo Valley has like foreshadowing with the UFO. I mean, calling it foreshadowing is maybe generous, but it, you know, it's a part of the game's aesthetic. It's a part of the experience. Is you see a crashed UFO in the tutorial, and then you see a UFO on the news. Like, what is the news if not also having the multiplayer function of the news, right? Like just having Callie and Marie report on the news at the beginning and end of the game, but you never see them report on the stages. Like, that would feel weird. Like, it wouldn't be the true experience of the game. And I'm very much like a hardcore like Splatoon 1 purist. I understand that most people like wouldn't really care. They just care about like the gameplay of the levels. The gameplay would also be worse though if they didn't improve the motion input delay that Splatoon 2 and 3 have on the Switch. So like if they directly ported the gameplay to Switch and didn't fix that issue, the gameplay would technically be worse. Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you're asking me, I'm talking about me. Like, I'm talking about me specifically. I'm sure for other people it would be fine. But if you're specifically asking me, would I be happy, which was the question aimed at me, would I be happy with this Splatoon 1 port? The answer is almost definitely no. Or port would be fine. Remake, no. And even Octo Valley on its own, without the game, I would find that strange. And like, I want more people to experience Octo Valley, but like, you can still buy Splatoon 1. You can still technically play online with Pretendo, like... You can emulate a Wii U. There's ways to experience Octo Valley that don't require Nintendo re-releasing it. I don't think it is an either-or, though. That's what I'm saying, I mean, I think you sent that message before I said that, but... it's just not an either-or. People can... I would rather someone emulate Octo Valley than Nintendo remake Octo Valley and make it look worse. Genuinely. Hello, Land Game King. Were the Galaxy 1 and 2 remakes remasters or ports? They were mostly ports. They redid a bunch of the textures in the game and cleaned up the UI. Well, I won't say cleaned up. They made the UI worse, in my opinion, but technically they modernized the UI a little bit. They made it so the game auto-saves instead of you manually saving. There's little tweaks, but they're mostly ports. Like, they're very much mostly the same game, just with some enhancements. And Galaxy 2 added the storybook, which is kind of significant. But still, it's still mostly the same game besides that. I would call them ports or remasters, maybe. I mean... I guess I'm just okay with a casual player not playing it then. I don't know. Like, I would rather people have the true original experience of the game. That would be my preference. I guess I just don't necessarily feel like it's inaccessible. I mean, it's on the Wii U. I guess my issue is that I'm imagining they would change it. I'm imagining it wouldn't be the same content. If it was like a super faithful port of Octo Valley with like the graphics intact, and especially if they somehow fix the controls to get rid of the motion delay, then sure, that would be fine. I don't really see them doing that ever. So I just think realistically, the form that Octo Valley would be in if they did that, if they put it on the Switch, would probably be something that I would not like. And, like, I don't know. I guess other people could experience the game that way. I just don't for me, Octo Valley is so much about the vibes, is the thing. Like, it's not... I don't think it is just the gameplay, so... I don't know. I don't know. It is something I would have very mixed feelings about. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think what you're saying is fair. I wouldn't like it. That's kind of the bottom line for me, is like, maybe that could happen and it would be good, but I wouldn't like it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about it. It's just... It's actually you're nitpicking and biased, I win, bye-bye. But yeah. To be fair, I think I am nitpicking and biased in this case, but yeah. That's how I am with Splatoon. I am the nitpicking and biased guy. So that's just kind of how it is. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, just on like remakes in general, like, I mean, they're just kind of weird, right? Like, I get it, like, most people... Well, I kind of don't get it. Like, okay, yes, as a way to make games more accessible, it's like, okay, we want to put this game on a new console, and more people are going to buy it if it's modernized in terms of its visuals and controls. Like, yes, from a pure business perspective, from the company's perspective, I think it makes perfect sense. From a, like, gamer perspective, I hate the word gamer, from a from the perspective of people playing games, I think it is weird that people have this notion that modern graphics are better. Like, that's just not a thing other art forms have. Like, you know, like when we came out with photographs, people weren't just like, oh, paintings are now obsolete. I mean, I'm sure there was, you know, discussion and debate about that. There definitely was, but, you know, now in this modern era, we know, okay, you know, it still makes sense. And even, like, I mean, in film, like, just because a movie is old and in black and white, there's still films that are considered classics and extremely, like, valuable to culture that are in black and white and have, you know, worse, like, recording and stuff. So I just think it's weird with games. I just think remasters are a weird thing that we're just, like, totally okay, like, removing these works from their original, like, art, you know, visual identity and context and, like, era. Like, I just would pretty much always rather play the original version of a game, I feel like, than a remake. And not like always, I mean, I like, I played like Twilight Princess HD. I like the way that game looks. I like the quality of life things. Like, I get it in that case. But that's also a game that was, you know, that's a remaster. I think remasters are very different than remakes. I think remakes are the thing I have more of a, like, not even a problem with necessarily, but it's just like, I think it's weird that that's like the expectation. I think some games definitely, like, it makes sense to remake them, but others it just doesn't. So yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying, like, a company... I think companies should make games accessible. Like, removed from the Splatoon 1 discussion. In general, I think in a perfect world, every company that makes video game consoles makes every previous video game compatible on the console, right? Like, if you could play every Nintendo game ever made on Nintendo Switch, I think that should be the case. As a blanket statement, regardless of like my opinions on Splatoon 1, I think that is the ideal world, is you can play every Xbox game ever released on an Xbox on the newest Xbox. You can play every PlayStation game ever made on the newest PlayStation. You can play every Nintendo game ever made on the newest Nintendo Switch. And I get that because of like licensing and, you know, the way the hardware works with like emulation and native ports and stuff. Like I get why that isn't just immediately feasible, but I do think like from a preservation and like accessibility of media standpoint, that would be the ideal. So, but what I'm saying is, I wish there wasn't necessarily always the expectation that for a game to come to a new console, it has to be, you know, remade from the ground up with new graphics and modernizing the gameplay. Because I do think modernizing gameplay can sometimes detract from the, you know, the game originally was trying to do. There are design decisions made for a reason, and sometimes things are, you know, of their time and of their era, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, but that's what the game is. And I don't know, I guess maybe I am just kind of a purist about that, but like, I think it should just be more of a conversation, you know? I think it's like, does this game need a remake? Or should this game just be on the consoles? You know, like... And it's like, it's just weird what games do get that treatment, right? Because then some games are just ported, and sometimes the emulation like sucks. And like Ocarina of Time, it's like no emulator can ever get the like Water Temple fog right in like the Darkling room for some reason. And like that just sucks. But they just, I don't know. It's weird. I know it's hard and weird, but it's like, it's just weird. It's not even like, I don't even think Nintendo is necessarily the worst. Like, I definitely think the worst examples are like things like The Last of Us, right? Where they remastered that game like 2 times despite the original literally still looking good. Like, that's just stupid. I think the remakes there, like Loki, just look worse. I think like, I mean, it's just also a thing I have with realism is like, just like as a blanket statement, I tend to like stylized art styles more than things going for hyperrealism. And I really dislike that a lot of remasters end up taking games that are effectively stylized, you know, maybe originally due to hardware limitations, and just making them hyper-realistic. Like, because even if a game was going for hyper-realism, even if a game was going for hyper-realism, but just was limited by the hardware and techniques and understanding of the time, it was still, like, the artist making that game made decisions to make the characters look the way they do. Like in like a Metal Gear Solid game, right? Like a lot of those games, like they are meant to look realistic. They were just old, so the characters were lower poly and had, you know, lower resolution textures. But that's like, those are the artistic decisions that were made to make that game feasible at the time. So I would want it to still look like that. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's just how I feel generally about, like, because that is still stylization. It was stylization out of necessity to meet hardware restrictions, but it is still stylization. It isn't just realistic. So just making it realistic, I think you're losing a part of the original, like, art of the game that I don't know. I think that's like, I just think in the general, like, gaming landscape, people don't really, like, consider that kind of thing as much as I would think they would. But yeah, I don't know. But it's also just a thing with me where I don't, lately I just really like low poly aesthetics. Like again, I just love the way like Ocarina of Time looks. I just like games looking like games. There was a lot of talk around the time of the Game Awards about like, you know, UE5 slop Unreal Engine, like just generic hyper realism stuff, where like games just look so like noisy and there's no like intentionality. And like I'm not like a doomer about it. I don't think it's like every game ever. Obviously, I mostly play Nintendo games and indies, partly for the reason that they all look so unique. I do think there's still tons of like innovation and great art in games in the modern era. I'm not like, you know, that guy who says games aren't even funny anymore and he plays like COD and Fortnite and nothing else. But yeah, I don't want that to be the trend. Like I don't want games to all be made in the same engine and have the same lighting and like, you know, just be going for the same types of looking characters. I want there to be variety. I want there to be tons of different like styles and, you know, techniques and methods. So, and like again, I don't know, I'm still like very optimistic about that. I think that is the case with games. I think there's still plenty of games that are doing lots of new and cool things, but I don't know, there's a whole subsect of games now that are just like hyper realism. I mean, like the Game Awards, it was like every single game is like Samurai Guy or like it's like feudal Japan or what I don't know. There were like 3 games. There were like 3 games at the Game Awards and it just kept looping, and there were like 3 different styles of game that all looked exactly the same, and it was just over and over and over again. And it was, and I mean that's just a Game Awards problem. I feel like I think they don't represent like the gaming landscape that well. You know, because like indie games obviously can't afford to pay for ads at the Game Awards. It costs like millions of dollars to get like 3 seconds. It's like a Super Bowl at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a point with this. I'm kind of just like rambling, but it's just, you know, I think people should consider how the original context of a work leads to choices made in terms of the art and design of the thing, and how that is valuable and why that should not just be ignored and remaking the game for a modern audience just for the sake of remaking it, I guess is all I'm trying to say. If that makes any sense. Because I mean, I do think it's a thing, like, you know, I assumed a lot of older games would be like harder to get into than they were. I do think it's just an assumption people make. And it's not until you go and like actually play some of these classic games that you like realize how well they hold up. Like Ocarina of Time, like, yeah, there's some like jank and some discomfort in the way certain aspects of the game work, but like it's still fun. Like it still feels good to play. It still feels good to clear its dungeons. It feels good to kill enemies and bosses. A lot of like SNES RPGs have aged like perfectly. They still have like beautiful pixel art that looks fantastic to this day. And you know, if most of the mechanics are like menuing, it's like that feels just as good as a modern menu most of the time. I don't know. I think it's just probably just, you know, comes from people not trying those games and not playing old games, which, you know, again, is like fair because they aren't like advertised or talked about as much. Like you have to be more like deep into the the medium of games to like even care about those things in the first place. But I don't know. I feel like games are worse at like games preservation is just harder than preservation of things like books and movies, I guess, because of how hardware affects things and changes the way things look and feel and run. But I wish it was better. Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, people, the AAA people complain about is literally just, like, an aspect, it's a whole section of the games industry that, like, I just don't even interact with. Like, I play Nintendo AAA, but Nintendo's kind of their own, you know, they're Nintendo, they're weird, they're always doing their own thing. Like, so it's like, I don't know, in one sense, like, maybe, I don't have much, like, complaining, how do I word this, like, I don't need to complain as much as other people because it doesn't even like affect me that much because the games I'm playing aren't those games. But you know, if there were more games, I guess, or more respect for old games, like it's just like a mindset thing, I guess, is why it feels weird to me. Yeah, I do think with graphics like hitting a kind of breaking point where it's like you really can't even tell apart console generations, like I do hope that will encourage people to try to stand out more or like use new techniques that weren't possible in the past. I do feel like we're still kind of in that weird middle ground, especially with just how long games take to come out now. It's like if a game takes 6 years to come out and it's just coming out in 2026, it's like, well, yeah, there wasn't really this whole conversation about game graphics. I mean, it was, you know, it was somewhat a thing at that time, but it's gotten really more and more obvious, and I think it'll, you know, I hope it will be a thing companies and studios can respond to and realize now that we're hitting that kind of breaking point. Well, I know, but visuals... I just think the mindset of, like, realistic visuals equal better is such a, like... It's just such a bad take. I don't think you have to be that deep or that much of, like, a nerd to believe that. I think you just have to have, like, any kind of taste in, like, art. Like, I don't know. I don't think it is. I know I sound pretentious saying that, but, like, I don't think it should be a pretentious thing. I just think it should be obvious that old games can look really good. And stylized games can look really good. Like, I just see that as, like, a self-evident fact. And if you don't believe that, I think you probably just don't care about the medium of video games, which is fine. You don't have to, but I don't know how you could be someone who, like, makes that their hobby and has that opinion. Yeah, dialogue is a whole other story, dude. I haven't played that many games with Focus M type dialogue, and I hope to continue not playing them. But yeah, that kind of thing drives me insane. Yeah, oh my god, that video. I mean, the thing is, if Splatoon dialogue was spoken out loud, I don't think it would fare very well in that argument, to be honest. A lot of the level dialogue is very... It's not, like, so cliche, and specifically what the Focus M thing is making fun of, but a lot of it is just very much like, here's this obvious video game mechanic that you can see with your eyes, and we're going to explain it to you. So... Yeah, Tomodachi Life looks really good. It's kind of impressive that they managed to sort of like evolve the look of the Miis while keeping their simplicity. I actually think it is very good. What is Focus M? There's this video a guy made of like AAA Mario, which is like just making fun of a lot of trends in the games industry, basically, by basically making like a parody, like a Mario version of it to like show how ridiculous it is. It's not like as deep as I'm making it sound. It's like a 5-second meme, but it sparked a lot of discussion about AAA graphics and dialogue, mostly dialogue in that case, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that video is going to have like genuine influence. Like companies are now scared of being called a Focus M game. So like I think it will have genuine like consequences, hopefully positive ones. But yeah, I mean that blew up. I like I feel like there hasn't been a piece of like gaming discourse that's been that like prevalent in a minute. The Game Awards, it combined with the Game Awards, I think is why it just set everyone off. Oh! Oh, there was the other fist. Did it get to I haven't seen it in a minute, but I kind of doubt it got deleted. I'm sure you can find like screen recordings of it if the original is gone. I'm like surprised we haven't gotten more Focus M tier writing from Nintendo, considering they like don't have game writers. Not that Tears of the Kingdom dialogue is good, but it's not quite as cliche. Oh, you're Link, my bad. I didn't even see the Link appear. Yeah, I mean it's a specific like type of game that I get why Nintendo hasn't like made it exactly like that, but yeah, I don't know. Focus P. Prime 4 was a little bit Focus M, yeah. But that was retro. I feel like that was more on retro than Nintendo. Well, I don't know. It's actually, it was like, didn't Tanabe write the story? I don't know. I don't really know. Again, I'm not really a Metroid guy. Oh, the writing was all retro. Okay, never mind then. So yeah, that's on them. Which kind of makes sense, because they're Western... Well, I don't know. I mean, not that all Western developers can't write, but obviously that'd be stupid, but they're, you know... That makes more sense to me than that coming out of, like, Tanabe, I guess. I think Pauline is fine. Pauline isn't Focus. She probably literally does say Focus DK in the game, but I thought Pauline was fine. Pauline was cute and like endearing, and she had like an actual story. She wasn't just like a tutorial character. Yeah, no, she was good. You know who sucked as a companion character? This isn't really related. This isn't really a Focus M thing, but Tri from Echoes of Wisdom, that is the most boring character to ever exist. They just didn't try with that, ironically. They did not try with Tri. But like, what was going on there? Am I insane for saying that Tri was like aggressively boring? I feel like that was just such a nothing character. I just, like, some other Zelda companions are so good. Midna is like one of the best written characters in all of Zelda. And then, like, Tri's just nothing. That was so weird. Yeah, I wanted to like Echoes of Wisdom, but that game just, like, it just doesn't do anything. It's just the whole game is like, okay. Well, don't people like Fi or Fee, however you say it? I mean, I know they complain. They are a very, like, tutorial-heavy character, but, like, that's something. Yeah. Dude, yeah, like, People say the Spider-Man, people defend it when it's Spider-Man because it's like, oh, like, it's his character, he's supposed to be quippy, but I've seen footage of those Insomniac Spider-Man games, and like, dude, I would not be able to make it through that game. The dialogue drives me absolutely insane. Cool. Nice. Cool. And people say it's a really good game. I believe them. That dialogue, I cannot stand. Maybe like the actual story is good, but just like the like in-gameplay dialogue, as I hate it so much. How is Silksong only 20 when it was in development for so long? Because there's 3 devs, and Hollow Knight sold millions of copies, making them all effectively millionaires. They had a lot of money to make Silksong. Hollow Knight 1 is like 15, I think? I mean, to be clear, both games are like an insane bargain. Like, you're getting like 100 hours of gameplay for like $15 or $20. Like, it is underpriced in the sense that it is a great deal, and the devs are like humble enough to do that. I mean, to be fair with Hollow Knight, it's like indie game prices kind of have to be low because they're meant to be, you know, like a cheap alternative to AAA games, and there's no guarantee that people are going to care about your game until people buy the game and spread it through word of mouth. So Hollow Knight being as cheap as it is makes sense, despite it being so massive. But yeah, Silksong being 20, they did not have to do that. They easily could have made it 40 or maybe even like 50, and everyone still would have bought it. But they're just chill like that, I guess. I don't know. that was honestly just kind of, I don't know what you call it, like it was humble of them, I would say, to make it only 20. Yeah, and then all the DLC is free, which is like, okay. Oh, that's true, yeah. I didn't know they said that specifically, but it was a stretch goal for the original Hollow Knight, so I guess that makes sense. Why is the Deltarune lore community so different from Splatoon's? I mean, Deltarune is like about the lore, right? Like you're not really, Deltarune's gameplay is like pretty good, but you're not playing it for the game, you know, you're playing it. Most people are playing Deltarune for the story and the lore and the characters, so it doesn't surprise me that that's like what all of the fandom content is about. Splatoon is primarily a multiplayer shooter. It is secondarily a single-player story mode, and maybe like arguably tertiary is a horde mode in Salmon Run, and then maybe people start caring about the lore. So it's just a much smaller subsect of the community and is much less accessible in the game itself. I wish we had Splatoon lore videos like Deltarune, but I mean, it makes perfect sense why we don't. Yeah, so much of it not being English definitely is not helping, and outside of the game. I do know there is like a Japanese lore community. I don't really know much about them. I imagine it's bigger just by virtue of the Japanese player base being so bigger, but I don't really know. When is my next vid coming out? Hopefully, like, within two weeks, maybe. I don't want to promise. It should, like, 100% it's coming out in February. I hope I can get it out in like 2 weeks, but I don't know for sure because I'm gonna be busy a lot of those days. Yeah, also Toby Fox's writing is consistently like incredible, and Splatoon's is not consistently incredible. Oh, what was that? There was that one comment. I don't know if that's what you're referencing. I forget the wording of comparing Grizz to McDonald's, but it was good. Did Toby Fox just write Octo Expansion? I think, like, some spirit visited Nogami and Denoy that day. I don't know, man. I don't know how they made it so much better than everything else. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Chapter 3 is where I have some issues. I mean, it's just such a higher standard, though. Like, I have problems with Chapter 3. There are things I don't love in the story and execution and gameplay, but, like, it's the level of Toby Fox storytelling where, like, the lowest points are still, like, very high compared to most other games. So, it's just not... I don't know. Yeah, I still don't like the mics. I don't like the mic stuff. I just don't really like Tenna. Is that... I assume that's a hot take. He's okay. He has really good moments. He talks too much, to be honest. Like, and that's funny because that's what he says before his boss fight, but he literally talks too much. Yeah, it's the pacing. The pacing is the main issue. God, the Doom board, I just don't care. That's like, the Doom board is my least favorite section of Deltarune or Undertale, I think. It's just so, like, dude, I get the point, right? Like, I don't... It's just so obvious, too. It's like, okay, Tenna is obviously building up to, like, he's gonna have this, like, breakdown where he's like, no, you can't stop playing the game, because, like, he already basically does that from the very start of the chapter. So it's like, when it happens, it's like, okay, yeah, like, I don't know, that part was so, like, nothing for me. And, like, then they pull it back with his boss fight. I think all his boss fight dialogue is really interesting. Like, I like what he is and, like, his arc and his character. It's just, he literally talks too much. I think, like, setting up the boards, too, that's, like, a pacing issue and a Tenna issue for me. Is, like, at the start of the board, when they have to explain the board, it's like, I wish you could just start, man. Like, I don't need you to explain everything to me. It's just, it's too much, like, expositional dialogue that just doesn't... Which Toby Fox is normally so good at avoiding. And a part of it, I guess, is just because he has to explain, like, the gameplay goal, but... I don't know. I just think normally he's so much better at handling that. Yes, I'm a big fan of the new update. Yeah, for sure, it's very good they were released together. My thing also, okay, the boards. I feel like that's where I have the most, like, dissonance with the community at large, is like some people really liked the, like, backstage game. I think it's kind of boring. I just think having the 8-bit game, it's already kind of disappointing that Board 2 is just another Zelda game, in my opinion, and then the fact that the backstage game is just 3 more Zelda games is like, I don't know. It gets really interesting by the end when you get into, like, the shelter part and, like, you know, ERAM / the mantle holder, whatever. Like, that stuff is great. But when it's just, like, you're literally just playing, like, a Zelda dungeon, it's just not that like scary to me. I feel like people, I don't know, I have the issue with like because I don't know, I think it's interesting that Undertale is playing with this idea of like, you know, layers of fiction, and it's like you're playing a game within a game. But because it's a game within a game, I'm not scared. Like, I don't feel like there's consequences. I was totally expecting at the end of it, it's like, oh, all those monsters you've been killing in the game, like, that actually, like, affected something in real life. But, like, it didn't. It just kind of didn't matter. And, like, ERAM does. Like, that's the spooky part, is, like, okay, 8-bit Chris comes out of the game, ERAM hurts Chris in the actual world, but that's, like, the only thing they do with it. I feel like they just didn't go far enough with, like, I don't know, like, I think Chris would be scared, but I'm not scared. I guess is how I feel about it, is like, no, I mean, I think they should be in the game. I just wish there was more variety. I wish you played, like, different types of games, or I wish they just did more with, I wish you, like, found something. Imagine, like, you found the key to the Ice Palace, like, during the TV World exploration segment, right? Like, I just feel like they could have done more with, like, blurring the layer between what is, like, the quote-unquote real Dark World and what is in the game. Like, I think you should have, like, if you had to, like, if there was more interaction, I guess. I think the fact that you always just go backstage and play this game and it's always self-contained in this game, the only thing that actually ever comes out is the Shadow Mantle, is like, I kind of just don't care. I don't know. Like, I think ERAM is building to something. I think it will be interesting eventually, and maybe that will recontextualize the whole thing and make it really interesting in a later chapter. But I just think as it is right now, yeah, there should have been more of, like, the I mean, you do the quote-unquote out of bounds where it's like, okay, you get to max level and you break the trees and you go out of bounds to get the thing. But to me, it would have been so much cooler if, like, doing that gave you, like, gave Chris, like, a sword in, like, the actual Dark World, and then they could go somewhere that they weren't supposed to in the Dark World and get the Ice Palace key. Like, I just think there could have been more. Like, that's the only, again, it's like Toby Fox, like, is normally, like, the absolute master at this. I think everything else about the chapter is, like, pretty much peak, but I just feel like he could have taken that so much further, and maybe he will. But I don't know. I wish they looked different. Like, that's part of it too, is like, I know the joke is like, oh, Ten is like reusing the assets from this old game, which is why the boards look exactly the same and the backstage games look exactly the same. But it's like, at some point, it's like, okay, man, I kind of just wish they looked different though, right? Like, and I mean, you get into like the dungeons and stuff, and it starts to look different, but I don't know. And then, okay, part of it too, part of it why, so like the thing is, like, chapter 2 is still by far my favorite chapter in Deltarune. Chapter 4 is really great and it comes close in a lot of ways, but chapter 2 just like matters so much. And I think it's just like, I think that's part of my disappointment, and part of this is like maybe just like realizing that this is how the game is, and it's like I just had my expectations, you know, set incorrectly. But part of why chapter 3 is disappointing to me is because, like, chapter 3 gave us like everything with Queen, everything with Spamton, and set up all of this stuff about like Dark Worlds in the future and the Weird Route. The Weird Route is a huge thing for me, because chapter 2 is still the only chapter where the Weird Route actually feels like a route and not just like 2 extra scenes and then the other like 5 hours are exactly the same. The fact that half of the backstage game in chapter 3 is just explaining the Weird Route. Like, I get why that's in the game. I get that he wanted to provide like a hint. I don't know even what it's for. Maybe it's for people who aren't terminally online to figure out how to do the Weird Route. Maybe it's just to tie together like the Shadow Crystal quest to the Weird Route. Maybe it's both. For whatever reason, okay, that's cool. But the fact that part of the backstage game is just us like doing weird route things is like, okay, but this is just less interesting than when I did those weird route things in the actual Dark World. Like the whole Noelle thing, and then like walking down the alleyway to the manhole, right? Like I think that would be really cool if you were actually a genuine first-time player and that's how you figured out the weird route, and then you get to the weird route and you're walking down that hallway, the alleyway with the manhole, and you're like, oh my god, this is just like the backstage game, but now it's for real. That would have been really cool. But because it happened in the reverse order, I just feel like it's like, this is just less interesting than what already happened, and also just feels like it's repeating on itself. Like, and like, yeah, like as a, maybe for a casual player, yeah, that would work. But I'm just saying, like, part of why it's disappointing to me is like, okay, I think it's like, what's the word? It is reductive to say that Tenna is just like another Spamton. I don't like when people describe him as another Spamton, but Spamton is so important, right? Like, Spamton still matters so much to like a weirdly large amount of the game. So like, okay, we have Spamton. Also, Spamton matters so much to the weird route as a whole. So it's like the chapter 2 secret boss, this chapter 2 character Spamton, matters to the weird route in a way that no other character does besides Chris and Noelle. The backstage game literally just has you reenacting a part of chapter 2's weird route. And like, I guess just like, it's chapter 2 just established so many things, and then chapter 3 just kind of like repeated them instead of like building upon them, I guess, in a way I would have expected. Like, I guess, yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is, like, casual players aside, for me and for most like hardcore Deltarune players, I just think having chapter 3 rely so heavily on stuff that was just from chapter 2 without really doing nearly as much of its own stuff, especially in the case of the weird route, because regardless of teaching you how to play the weird route, once you're actually on the weird route, it's like there's literally a single line from ERAM, and that's like the only thing that changes. And like, yeah, I know that like Noelle isn't there, so like they can't advance the plot line that much, but like anything else being different would have been nice. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's disappointing to, or I don't think it's unreasonable to be disappointed in that, you know, this whole second playthrough of the game has massive hour-long sections of the game that are literally just identical. And to be fair, when I play the weird route, I go full violence mode, so technically there are some other changes. If you beat up, like, you know, the Shadow guys and the Pippins, then like a couple of scenes change a very tiny bit, but I don't know. Yeah, no unique credit song is also just, that's a very minor thing, but it is just another little thing that gives it less of its own identity. I mean, honestly, I think it was way cooler having the weird route be discovered the way it was. Like, having it literally just be like a Google Doc going around online of people being like, yo, dude, there's like this crazy evil route in the game. Like, I know you don't believe me, but try it yourself. Like, I loved how much of a like genuine just like playground rumor it felt like. I think that was sick, and I do think that was totally the intention. Yeah, like it sounds fake. Like, that's what's so cool about it, is like you don't, like, it sounds like someone is like, you know, making a joke, but then like it's actually real. I think that's way cooler than it being just like a thing in the game that's like the forbidden route started with ice magic. I think that's way cooler, honestly. I don't think it's bad that that is in the game, but I'm glad it happened the way it did, I guess, is what I'm saying. But yeah, that's a big part of, I guess, my issues with chapter 3. I didn't expect to go on a massive Deltarune rant, but I guess that's to be expected. But like, I just think it struggles to have as much of its own identity, whereas chapter 2 just like has so much going on. There's so much. There's like the normal route where you have the whole, I mean, you know, chapter 2 also introduced Noelle, who is like a main character. So like, yeah, on some level, like, I get that it's just, it also had Berdly. Low-key, I think chapter 3 needed a Berdly. It didn't need to be Berdly, but it needed a character like Berdly. I think there needed to be another like foil to make like whatever was happening more interesting. It probably should have been Mike, if I'm being honest with you, because I don't really care about Mike. I don't like what the mics are. I maybe that's a hot take. I'm not a big fan of the mic room. I would have vastly preferred Mike was just an actual character who like bounced off of Tenna. Because I think that's part of also what makes Tenna so awkward is that he's just really talking to himself like 90% of the time. And it's like, I think another character honestly could have helped. Yeah, like if, I mean, obviously they would have to rework how the like Weird Route tutorial works in that case, but yeah, if the backstage games were what you played like instead of the normal games in the Weird Route, that would have been so much better in my opinion. I mean, that would have taken like a lot of reworking obviously to make that happen, but that would have made a lot more sense, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. My whole issue with the backstage game is like this idea of like playing a creepypasta. Like we did that in the Weird Route and it was so much more interesting because it actually felt like it impacted the characters in the game. And then like to just do it in the Mantle game where we're not breaking the game of Deltarune. We're just breaking this game in the world of Deltarune and it doesn't matter. Like, okay, maybe we're traumatizing Chris a little bit more, but like, you know, they've had enough of that. They're used to it. Like, it's just, it barely does anything for anyone else. Like, and again, I think maybe if ERAM amounts to something else, it could recontextualize that, and I would like it more. But as it is now, I just don't care. I just really don't care. Roots Theory is cool, but also the end result of Roots Theory, I think, is really weird. Like, I mean, it depends. There's different interpretations of it. I kind of forget what they say in the actual original video. I think finding some secret area of Hometown in the Weird Route where we like fight Friend or something. Sure, that makes sense. Following the tail, getting lost in the woods, I can buy that. But the idea if we're like going around Hometown and like killing people, like I don't think the Weird Route is just going to end with like Undertale genocide. Like, I don't have really any clue what it's going to end with, but I think it's going to be something more interesting and unique than that. I don't think we're just going to like kill people in real life. That seems really boring. That sounds so deranged if you're not a Deltarune fan, but you know what I mean, in the light world. What's the Roots Theory? There's like a couple of layers to it, but the general like premise is that the dungeon that you play in the third backstage game, where there's like all of the monsters that resemble the Undertale monsters, it like vaguely resembles the layout of Hometown. So like, I'm not even really sure what the end like conclusion they draw is. It's just like it might be foreshadowing something with the Weird Route, the same way the you know, the other parts of the backstage game are. Which like it just brings up some interesting points. I think most people are like the actual like specifics of it maybe aren't like correct or matter that much, but just the general concept is interesting. It's gonna end with the Sans fight. I mean, people are predicting there's gonna be a Sans fight in Chapter 5, if anywhere. So I don't know about that, but well, I guess some people are also predicting the Weird Route will end in Chapter 5, so yeah, maybe, who knows. Yeah, I like the idea of traveling into the woods. I mean, that kind of just feels like an inevitability to me for some reason, like traveling into the woods around Hometown, just because like Noelle already brought that up in Chapter 2. Lost Where the Forest Would Grow, like that just seems like something that's going to happen, probably even on the normal route. So yeah, whatever form that takes, I feel like that will be cool. I really like the idea people throwing around of that Megalovania will return as a Susie theme. In some form. I think we're gonna fight Susie. That's how I like to interpret the At Last Was the Girl prophecy. I like the idea of Susie being like a chapter boss even, maybe. So I think that'd be cool, but I don't know. I think it is very possible the police take is blocking a part of town we will go to at some point in the story. I feel like the festival is kind of going to be a town-wide thing. Sorry if anyone's here who doesn't care about Deltarune, by the way. It's that's what the conversation is. You should play Undertale and Deltarune, and then you can join in. But yeah, it seems very feasible that we would go to another part of hometown for the festival. Okay, what? Accidental triple? I mean, I meant to press splashdown, but I didn't think that would happen. We take those. We're like probably not even that far from Deltarune Chapter 5 either, which is crazy. Where do the iframes come from? I don't know. I mean, you get some in Splashdown, but I don't know. Some kind of hometown grand festival, wow. Oh, come on. Nice. I'll never see it coming. Well, maybe they kind of saw it coming, but it worked. Nice. It's very easy to get aura with Splatlings, I'm noticing. Which I am not complaining about. The sound effect is so good for aura, dude. I should have focused that guy. I was scared about the charger. Yeah, he just casually, like, he literally had never acknowledged the existence of chapters 6 and 7, shut up, until like one of the more recent newsletters. Yeah, Nautilus is very good for Flow Aura. What do you prefer, Inkling or Octoling? I mean, I play as an Inkling, so I guess Inkling. Dude, speaking of Deltarune theories, Andrew Cunningham, like, teased, like, around New Year's, he's, like, working on some, like, giant evil Deltarune video. I'm actually so hyped for that. I'm, like, I'm not almost as excited for it as Chapter 5 itself, but I'm actually, like, really, really looking forward to that. Yeah, he just... he was very like vague and fancy with the wording, but it's just something about the more obscure and esoteric elements of Deltarune lore. He said it might end up being 2 videos? Oh. Well. The more the merrier, I guess. Yeah, he's by far my favorite Deltarune content creator. I like his streams and his vibes and stuff. His editing is so good too. I haven't like specifically tried to emulate. Well, I kind of partially did. The like bubbles in my Splatoon story and what it means to be human were directly inspired by the bubbles in the his Undertale video. So certain aspects of his editing I have like genuinely been inspired by. But just the general like flow of it is just so good. I don't think. He said he actually did say, like, not quite something on the level of the device theory, but the most ambitious thing he's made, like, so far. I don't know, the wording was something like that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I very much, that whole video was very much inspired by Andrew Cunningham in a lot of ways. But also specifically, like, certain bits of editing and, script and stuff. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. Oh, kill. Kill, okay. How's the Aura Pharma going? Aura Pharma. Taking down big Aura Pharma. It's going good. Especially with Nautilus. It is quite easy to get on this weapon. What's that guy doing? I mean, friend appears in lots of places other than the cyber world, so I don't think it would specifically be a... I don't think it would specifically be that. It appears in chapters 3 and 4. He did comment on the video, which, to be fair, when you reference someone's video in your video, I think they get a notification. So, like, he didn't just come across it randomly, but he did watch it and compliment the video, which was very cool. Yes. Did Gaster make or find friend? I guess make seems like it makes more sense since it's labeled the same way as like the device things, but why he would make friend, I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, that's friend is like definitely interesting, but everything with them is so speculative. It's almost like that's kind of where I hit the limits of like how much I can actually think about Deltarune myself, where like I'm not like coming up with friend theories because you basically just have to like write fan fiction to make any sense of it at the point we are in the story. Like we just know absolutely nothing. It's probably a cat-like thing that may or may not have lured Des into the woods and has some connection to Gaster. That's that's basically all I feel like we've got. So I don't know. I am really interested how Asriel will tie into everything, because like I feel like with the implication that like he was maybe dating Des, and with the like, you know, a lost girl, a crying and crying and crying boy, like I think he will matter. He won't matter in the way Jaru thinks he will. But I do think Asriel will like come into play at some point. A lot of people still think friend is Mike, and I can't say I understand why. I mean, I kinda, there's connections. There's a weird amount of connections between them, but I don't exactly think it makes sense. I don't know. Anything Mike at this point, I'm hesitant. Like, I wouldn't necessarily write off Mike as just being a joke, but I also don't think Mike is... I don't think Mike is or ever has been as important as some people want him to be. Little Judd is the knight, true. Will friend inside me ever be important? No. Friend will. Not that friend. I don't even know if friend will at this point, to be honest. Like, friend is either like literally the antagonist of the game, or will just always be a like weird, confusing secret like Gaster was in Undertale. Like, I feel like it's one or the other. I don't know. Mike is a hallucination / coping mechanism after Tenna lost Spamton. I actually don't feel like I've heard that interpretation before. But I also don't think that totally adds up with the dialogue from the latest newsletter, where Tenna was implying, like, Mike used to be around, but now it feels fake. Like, I feel like there's an implication that there was a real Mike there. Unless you're saying in that case that it just would be Spamton. But no, because Spamton and Mike were different people for sure, because they talked about the contract. Oh god, we're like deep in the weeds of this now, but yeah, no. I think Mike was a real guy. No, I mean, I don't know. That like I would be 100% on board with the idea that Mike is just a coping mechanism for him dealing with Spamton, if not for that latest newsletter. Which is also really annoying because like 99% of players aren't even going to see that dialogue in game because they probably gave Tenna to Mettaton. So I don't even know, man. I really don't know. I mean, Susie says they're gonna go back for Jackenstein. The church was also, like, totally trashed, so they probably won't notice, like, a few candles missing. Could Mike be the other one? Well, okay, I don't know, I don't have this dialogue by heart, because I just watched it, like, the one time in the newsletter, but it's like... Mike told... What was it? Mike told Tenna not to make Spamton, like, sign a contract. Like, Mike warned Spamton to not do something, but then Tenna encouraged him to do it because he wanted them to be big shots or whatever. I don't know. Please kill. Thank you. I'll take the one. Why did Alvin bring Gerson's hammer into the church? I don't know, man. I mean, I definitely think Alvin knows something about Dark Worlds. I don't know why you would, like, have a corpse in your desk if you weren't trying to revive your dad with a magic Dark World. So I imagine, like, Carol / the Knight told him about it, or he was just in on it already somehow. But yeah, I don't know why he wasn't there. I think there's a non-zero chance he got kidnapped the same way Undyne did. I think them trying to capture the people who have the shelter codes makes sense, and he almost definitely has a shelter code. I don't really know why they're capturing people with the shelter codes, because clearly they have access to the shelter, but maybe it's to stop other people from having access to the shelter. But I don't know why they're doing it like one at a time then. It's definitely a very, it's a very confusing spot. Basically all of the possibilities and conclusions that Andrew Cunningham draws in his Knight's Conspiracy video is where I'm still at with all of that. I don't agree with the Black Shard thing. I think it's weird to call the katana the Black Shard, but that's pretty much the only point I disagree with him on. And I don't really have a better alternative, so... I mean, I hope Little Judd is plotting nothing. If we're gonna go back to that conversation, I don't want them to make Little Judd a villain. He can have his funny little Grizzco association, and that can be that. I don't really want him to have anything more than that. Oh my god! I just realized I've been streaming for 3 hours and 45 minutes. What? The yapping was crazy today. I literally just went 45 minutes over the planned time. Okay, well, I'm probably gonna end soon in that case. I literally did not realize I was streaming that long. That's crazy. I mean, that's a, you know, sign I was having a good time, I guess. But wow. Ignoring what makes logical sense, where you think would be the most interesting place for a Dark World? Like in Hometown, or just like in everything. I saw someone mention once that, like, maybe the reason Carol keeps everything important in her house is because she's afraid of people making a dark world and the Darkners, like, exposing her. So, like, I don't know. Another house dark world kind of doesn't seem that interesting, but, like, if you're gonna do a weird route thing and have, like, a whole, like, snow Christmas themed world, that could be a thing. I mean, I kind of like it following the logic of having to be inside a building, so I've never really been on board with, like, the lake or... Some people say all of Hometown be in a dark world, but, like, that would just be the Roaring. That wouldn't... that wouldn't really make sense. I think I'm gonna call the stream there. Sorry, I know we're kind of still ranting about Deltarune things, but I didn't, like, mean to go this long. I just wasn't paying attention to the time. But yeah, good yaps today. Good update. It's been fun. Thank you for everyone who played for the games. I will keep on chipping away at that boss ranking video. I'm making really good progress, I promise. It will be out in February, hopefully before any Raiders news happens, but also if Raiders news happens, I'm not complaining, obviously. But yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I actually saw that tweet and forgot to respond to it. I forgot there, like, was an unbeatable leaderboard. I, like, didn't even know you could, like... I mean, obviously you have, like, a profile, so it makes sense that you can see other people, but yeah, I didn't know where that was, but yeah, cool. That is fun. But yeah, I will end it there for today. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Cosmic. Farewell.